years old in June. Hey, Dugald, if you want to come up, guest box is open for friendlies. Anyway, well, it's open for, not friendlies too. But I mean, like, come on up if you want. Um, I think that it's because, being almost 60, people my age were originally taught that OCD is people like who wash their hands a lot. You know what I mean? Like, we're not taught that it's about intrusive thoughts. We're not taught about the disruption of the intrusive thoughts. Now, and then I started thinking about it. Like, didn't, like, anybody who has OCD and was a Christian knows, do you know what that does to a person who believes in this fucking shit and has OCD? Because we think that our thoughts are sins.
Heavily. And the thought of like, what is it called? Where it's like thought crimes?
Yeah,
Is that what it,
that's what I
like,
mean.
yeah, it's just absolutely, it's just a despicable concept.
Yeah, it really is. It's just, anyway, welcome to the show, Morgan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Crystal?
I'm doing well. I listen to you so much. It's very nice to have you up here with me. I love listening to you.
I'm happy to be here.
I thought we had somebody joining the show, but if you are a believer of the God of the Bible specifically, then I'd love for you to come up and talk today. Today we're talking about how God's not that into you. And I like this topic because, years ago, there was a book that was very popular called He's Just Not That Into You. And it was a guy who wrote it to women to let you know that men are showing you all the signs. Men are talking disrespectful to you. Men are not returning your calls. Men are choosing other priorities over you, and yet you are still, allowing them to string you along. And he was letting you know that when a man is into you, the signs will be there. He will call you back. He will text you. He will make you a priority. And that's the way I feel about this God of the Bible. Like, that character, he's really not that into us. You know what I mean?
And isn't. Like the
Yeah,
men.
the Abrahamic one. Somebody asked in the question, the Abrahamic God. Yes, the Abrahamic one. Hey, Dystopia, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
41.
And are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
No, I'm agnostic.
Okay, and what are your pronouns?
She, her.
What did you want to talk about today?
Well, for me, it's very funny. It's not just the God of the Bible. Like I say, it's the Abrahamic God. And when we're talking about the Abrahamic God, that also involves the Islam and the Judaism. And that
Right.
premise that we have in the Abrahamic God is the Aristotelic premise of the first mover, that one who moved everything without moving itself. And that quality of the first mover represent in the metaphysic of Aristotle is the one we have in the Abrahamic religion. What is the thing? The thing with most of the people who have a belief, we need to understand the faith is not a thing that I can prove or the science care. Faith is faith. And the only way we can argument or debate the Abrahamic God or the theological part is through philosophy. And we have it through theology, ontology, or metaphysics.
Hey, Kens, can I get your age for TikTok purposes? Okay, and Are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Yes, I am. So I'm asking, like,
Okay.
what's your argument?
Well, especially for women. I was talking about how years back there was a book out called He's Just Not That Into You. And it was a book about how men actually let you know that they're into you or not into you by the way they treat you. You know, if they're disrespectful, if they don't call you back, if they leave you on read, if they, don't, want to go out with you on the weekend, they're telling you they're not that into you. And this God, he is just not that into humans particularly, but women especially. And he shows you in the Bible because, he treats them pretty shitty.
So your argument is like the image of man is like God not being interested in women.
I think that God doesn't really like humans. He's mean to them, and if he's an all knowing, all loving God, I don't know what's going on with your mic, but it's like you're wrestling it or something. It sounds like you're.
I know. Like it's pretty windy here. I'm sorry, but you can continue.
Okay, if you can mute when I'm talking, then that will make it easier for people to hear me. Okay, thank you. So yeah, from the very beginning of the Bible to the end, he's just really not into people. He's always mad at them. He's always having a fit. With women in particular, he blames everything on them, even though he created everything. And then he allows their fathers to sell them. He allows their fathers and their husbands to basically have dominion over them, even right down to the vows that they say. If he loved you, he would do things that were loving, that would draw you to him.
But
Okay,
sorry.
Let me give you some full context. So you're seeing the Old Testament God. This Old Testament God is somewhat saying to you, this is before Christ in the New Testament. What you have to understand about the Old Testament God, these were technically the Jews. As the story were come from the Jews. Let's go back to historic times. This kind of God that you're talking about you have to obey this God. You have to kill for this God. That's why when we go back to the people that were serving him, you had to sacrifice something for forgiveness and repent from him for him to forgive you. And God. And that's why Jesus came. So it would be much easier for you to repent for running into the belief that he died on the cross.
But none of that was necessary. None of that was necessary. Okay, Nicholas, you wanted to say something?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Friends, does God change?
No, God's the same.
No, exactly. So the God that's in the New Testament is still the same as the God in the Old Testament.
That's true.
I mean, the New Testament even doubles down on the submission of women to men. So you can't use the whole it's the Old Testament ways, because it was still going on in the New Testament as well. I mean, even Jesus took part in ritualistic animal sacrifice, so really your argument is moot. I get that the default is always, but the New Testament and he unalived persons, therefore we don't have to do that anymore. They were still doing that. The only reason why they stopped doing animal sacrifice is because they don't have the temple anymore.
Yeah,
you understand that, right?
That's why it became much easier, right? For them from relief from repentance. That's the reason why.
Dystopian. Hang on one second, you guys. I see you when you raise your hands and stuff. You don't have to interrupt. I will interrupt for you or interject for you as the host. So I saw that you raised your hand. I wanted to let them finish, and then I would call on you, Dystopia. Let Ken's finish. I'm sorry, Ken's. Go ahead.
So yeah, I was talking about that. You have to understand that this God is a forgiving God. The Christian God is a forgiving God. How do we say that he's a forgiving God that gives other people second chances? Of course, he ran down his son to die for the cross. I know I got a little bit of disrespect from him critically, but I know he didn't mean it in that way. Without him telling you that wasn't necessary. Okay, that's all fine. Okay, your opinion, all good.
Wait, how did I disrespect you?
You said it wasn't necessary to tell that. I told you my beliefs, and you know I'm gonna
I
mention.
didn't say anything wasn't necessary. Maybe you have me confused, but I didn't say that.
Okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but I'm still gonna
No, what
talk,
she
gonna
said
talk to
was
just Nick.
what she
Yeah,
said
sure,
was
Nicola.
what she said was the sacrifice wasn't necessary. God didn't have to do that. That's what she said.
Yes, yeah,
That had
I
nothing
know.
to do with you.
Okay, what were the people doing? They were disobeying God,
Okay,
and
before
this,
we
and
change go on to that, Dystopia has been waiting to say something, and I want to try to make sure we give everybody a chance to speak up here. I'm sorry, Dystopia, go ahead.
One God from the Old Testament and the God from the New Testament is the same first mover, is the same Aristotelic, and you can read it in the Summa Theologic from Sam Akin. The God doesn't change; it's the same, because one of the qualities of the Abrahamic God is unmoved. That's one of the things that characterize the Abrahamic God. Can move everything without moving itself. So a thing who is not create, is not material,
well,
and is unmoved, how can change? Second, Jesus don't have any of the quality for be first mover. So the Jesus Christ of the Bible don't have any philosophical, ontological, or metaphysical qualities for be a first mover. Third, God doesn't have human qualities for say I change personality, I feel less, I feel more love, less love, more anger. The first mover don't have any ethical human perspective of his creation in a theological way. And it's not about what I feel, is the basement of the philosophy theology of the Christianism. So you cannot be changed when you cannot be moved.
well, I'm asking you, when did I say that God changed? I never said that God changed. I'm
You say
saying
it's not
that
the
God's
same
the
God.
same person because when I'm talking about this God is an all-forgiving God, of course. When I say all-forgiving, how? He literally put on the waves on people. Why? Disobedience. Simply put it as that. Disobedience you pour on God. Of course, He's gonna get mad at that. You're His creation. You have to obey your Creator. Of course, He created you. He's all knowing and all being. You have to obey Him. You have to question
People are
yourself.
having a really
Why?
hard
Why?
time
Right?
hearing you.
Can
Pens,
I? Okay.
pens.
Sorry
People are
for being like sarcastic or
there.
anything, but
No.
I'm
No.
I'm like speaking, right?
Holy McFuckerson McFuck! I am trying to tell you, people are having a hard time hearing you. I'm trying to help you out.
No one can
Please
hear what you're
leave.
saying because of your
Leave.
audio quality.
You talking very low, and plus the wind, nobody can hear you. That's all I was trying to tell you.
I have something they call misophonia, and I'm also autistic, so it was very hard the wind sound plus the deep voice that he did, so it was very hard for me to understand.
And when you come up here as a guest, I do have mods. Nicholas is one of my mods, and they're going to interrupt sometimes to make sure that we are able to hear you. They're going to tell you things like, you have low bars, your mic is, muted. You need to calm down a minute because nobody had even been being rude to you or interrupting you to in any way to be hostile. So when Nicholas just interrupted you, it was literally to make sure that we would all be hearing the very words you wanted us to hear.
Say something if you allow me.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Is any fact or proof that a God exists or doesn't? Second, science doesn't care. We have only the arguments coming from the philosophy, and arguments don't represent facts or proof. That's the reason if Somebody come, I feel God in my heart, I feel it's real, that's faith. And faith is not an argument, it's just fallacy of the logical argumentation. So tell me, Safat, the God exists, how you can pass?
Well, that's not the topic today,
No, it's because
dystopia. I
one
don't
saying
even.
them.
I don't. I want them to address their God in the Bible, and I want them to address how the God as it is written in the Bible isn't that into us as humans or into specifically women. And so to me today, the topic isn't whether he exists or not. It's the one that does exist in those writings. He's not that into you. Good morning, Tahir. Oh, did you not mean to come up?
Ethical perspective, God doesn't have human, and He doesn't care about in the way the humans want to represent. So say God is good or God is bad, it doesn't understand what the God means in the Abrahamic way.
Hi.
Hi.
I did mean to come up. I just wanted to pop up. I know there's like a little bit of a lull, so I don't have anything to contribute to the background, but I love my friend and I wanted to say hi.
I love you too. I'm feeling a little better today. I don't know. I was
Good.
talking to Vice about it earlier. I do not know why this diagnosis hit me so hard, but I literally was crying for about 48 hours after the diagnosis. And of course, like when I talk to my doctor and stuff, they're like, oh, yeah, that's part of the diagnosis. A lot of people who are diagnosed with OCD end up finding, like, they for some reason people with OCD feel like it's somehow a moral failure, and I don't know why, because anybody else who would tell me like, oh, I have OCD, I would love them and feel empathy and compassion towards them, but oh, it's me, then I must
Would
be
you
a
like to
moral
know
failure.
why?
Aw, yeah. That's interesting. But I did want to say though, when it comes to OCD, it's possible that that's one of the ones that carries a lot of stigma, and maybe that's why, because it's not as well
Yeah.
understood or like
Hey, Meeks.
what's the term, like normalized as like depression or
Yeah.
anxiety, like there's still some stigma, and I think that might be why, because this is so random, but yesterday at breakfast, we were talking about, some of the people in my family, how we exhibit signs of OCD. And I turned to my mom, I was like, 3 of your 4 kids have OCD. And my brother's like, who? And I was like, you, me, and, my sister. And he was like, I don't have OCD. And he like got really defensive. And we were all kind of like, oh, snap, sorry. And it was kind of that manifestation. He's like, why can't we just say people are particular? I was like, okay, sorry, bro, you don't got OCD, but it made me think about that exact thing. Like, I wonder if there's like a stigma, but anyway, this was
Yeah, I think
interesting.
there is a stigma. I think, as I was telling Vice earlier, I think that a lot of it has to do with how old I am and remembering the kind of things that I was taught about OCD, and I know they're not correct, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get that now, but that doesn't, as we know, when you're indoctrinated and taught things incorrectly when you're very young, it's very hard to rewire the brain to realize, okay, like I keep making this joke, but in a way, like it's because of what I was taught about OCD. But like, why don't I have the OCD that makes it so my whole house is clean right now? Because it is
Fair
not.
though.
Okay.
That's so fair.
Why don't I have that one? Okay. But Morgan, first you were going to say something, and then Nicholas, because Morgan, you said, do I want to know why? Of course I do. Why?
So it has to do with the fact that your OCD patterns need to be completed, and that drives a perfectionism desire. And so now that you are aware of the diagnosis, you are no longer perfect.
But part of my personal OCD, I wish it was about perfection, but
I know.
that's really it. I am not. My OCD is more about
feels weird.
intrusive thoughts, not necessarily the rigid thinking as much as the intrusive thoughts. I mean, I do have rigid thinking, obviously, and that a lot probably stems from my Christianity, right? 40 years of that, right? Where I had to be the perfect Christian because I didn't want to go to hell. But like a lot of it is just ruminating, if you will.
Yeah, and so when I use the word perfection, it's not necessarily the natural conceptualization that most people think of. And I noticed down in the comments
Hey,
to hear that
Abo.
you said order. And that's more what I mean is there is an order to things and now you are out of order.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Does that make more
Hey,
sense?
Nicholas.
Sorry. Sometimes
Yeah, that
I
does.
dive down into deeper levels. I apologize.
No, that's fine. Nicholas, what were you gonna say? What were you gonna add?
Another reason that OCD gets stigmatized so hard is because they've labeled it as behavioral disorder rather than kind of like a rewiring or something that you can't help. They label it as something that you can with like, for a better term, brain training. I'm still getting over this damn head cold. So
Oh,
once people find that it's more behavioral than anything, they're like, oh, you can just get over it. Oh, well, why do you have to like click off that light switch 5 times over to hear the click? You're just doing it to yourself, and that's another
and
reason why it gets stigmatized.
I think that a lot of those things are like what was really confusing about my diagnosis. And we have yet to talk about it. I mean, she has given me the diagnosis. I have another worksheet I have to fill out. And then we're going to talk about, treatment and where to go from here and my specific, diagnosis. But I don't do rituals like a lot of people do with OCD. Why are you telling me to stop my lies? We're literally talking about me and OCD, Kian. What am I lying about? What am I lying about, sir? Anyway, I was like, I don't. I thought OCD had to do with things like having rituals or needing to do things to the point where if you didn't, you would feel some sort of anxiety about it or whatever. And she said, yeah, that is a type of OCD. It's not necessarily your type of OCD. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, okay. Again, mine is more about rumination in general, where and I don't know that I'm doing it, obviously, because it's all internalized. Like I'm not I don't have the compulsion that a lot of people do have with OCD. I'm not I don't feel the need to click a light switch 5 times. There is other weird stuff I do though, but that's not one of them. But not saying that that's the only way you show. But I'm just saying, I realized as I was saying that just now, wait a minute, Crystal, you do other stuff very weird. Anyway, we do have a guest. You guys know him. He's been up on many lives. I just want to remind everybody before I bring him up, today's drop gift is the diamond. I have never had the diamond given to me before, but you need two. It doesn't have to be from the same person. Just 2 people from the chat have to gift the diamond, and we will drop the guest. But here is our first guest today. Jordan, or not first, I guess. Jordan, welcome to the show. Just to remind everybody, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
Alrighty. Today's topic is God's not that into you. And when I thought about this topic, it's mostly really about, mainly about women, but it's about everybody. It comes from the book that was written, many years ago, where a man wrote a book that said, he's just not that into you. And it was about how men are constantly showing women by their disrespect, by their anger, by all kinds of things that they're not that into them. And women are still fawning over those men. And I think that's kind of what we do with this God. The God of the Bible, he's really not that into you, especially if you're a woman.
My daddy loves me.
Okay. Is that it?
Did we get a page check? Like, what was that?
What?
Oh no, he's old enough. He's been on everybody's live. I just don't know what that was. But if that's your entire argument,
I mean, you didn't give me
w-
much either. You you read a book one time? That's cool.
okay,
Congrats.
Jordan,
Read a
have a
Bible
good
one
day.
time.
I don't know why you came up. Weird. You're the one who requested up. I thought you wanted to have a conversation.
No, my
Um,
daddy loves me. Like, what?
I don't know. It was weird. I thought I did give. I thought I gave a very clear explanation of why I was having this topic today.
Very clear. He just didn't want to listen regardless.
Dystopia, what did you want to say?
I think it was very clear in the point that you say. It was a very clear question. Second, Kian, you are doing something. If you want to call it argument, you are doing something. First, you are doing ad hominem fallacy. You're attacking the person, not the argument. If they are not unbelievers or not, that's not the point that which she asked. Second, you are doing a fallacy of a false analogy. Third, I don't understand what's so deep what she asked. So if you want to really have a deep conversation, I don't understand what you just came for saying my daddy loved me.
Jordan, you're right. It was a statement, and then usually people have a rebuttal to the statement. And you've been on these lives long enough to know how they were. So you acting dumb in the comment. Oh, you're not acting. I'm sorry. I forgot.
That was
Yes,
weird.
you were kicked. You had nothing to say. You just sat there. I'm not gonna. What? No, I don't put up with childish little men who come up on these lives just to act like misogynistic pricks, and that's what you do, Jordan. I can't. You came up. I thought you were coming up in good faith, and then you went, "My God, yeah, yeah, yeah." No, I'm not doing that today, sir.
Crystal, I'm going to give you a little bit of pushback, and I'm going to say maybe you just didn't hear his argument. I heard his argument. Do you want me to tell you what his argument was?
Yes,
His argument
yes.
was, nuh-uh. It was deep.
Not just that, it was, nuh-uh, my daddy loves me.
Right.
Read a book one time.
The only thing I want to say about that argument is Sigmund Freud is very proud of you. It's not mommy issues, daddy issues. So Sigmund Freud is
Jordan,
proud of
you
that argument.
reported me. Jordan, you reported me. Is that really like? Is that really how you feel? Is that you got bullied, Jordan?
Can we block?
Real mature.
Say something to you, Ty, that you're very right with the stigma of the BPD, really, and that's very sad.
Yeah.
It's funny how it only happens when you're here, Jordan. So I'm gonna go ahead and block you now.
Yes, it's the best, basically.
Kian, if you want to talk, come up and talk. I haven't even responded to you, so I don't know how you can say that our answers are as flat as a pancake. I haven't spoken to you. It's funny that Jordan says that I've accused him of that 3 times. That means that the times that I get reported, Jordan has been the one that's here. I'm not saying that correlation equals causation. I'm not saying that.
But context cues, damn.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Kian. I didn't know who you were talking to because you weren't tagging anybody.
Well, I guess I do have something to say about your background, though, because it's like, if not disinterested man, then why act like disinterested man? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
If you're so into me, then why do you act like you're not?
Well,
exactly. That's all I'm saying.
He's totally interested in helping Linda find her car keys. Like, I don't think that was fair.
I'm just saying, like, if I was gonna write a God that everybody would love, like, this God would be so cool. He would just be like, he would be so kind and sweet. I don't know. Like this God just doesn't seem like. And people are like, "Oh, do you want him?" I'm sorry, Dystopia. I'm going to mute you because your background. I'm neurodivergent. I can't have background noise. Um, it's like I don't know. Like even when we're dating, we put our best foot forward, right? We dress up nicer than we normally do. We're all like that, right? But this God doesn't. He's like, I'm showing you I'm a total asshole, and then I still want you to all fawn over me. And he doesn't get better in the New Testament. That's a facade too, because the way Jesus acts in the New Testament towards women, to me, is disgusting.
I didn't realize I was on mute, and I know, and also
That's okay.
neurodivergent.
No problem. Kian, the Bible also says, specifically Jesus, Kian, Jesus says that if you call a person a fool, you are in danger of a fiery hell. So I would not keep doing that, sir. I would not keep doing that. You guys like to remember a few key verses, but you don't like to remember like the other ones. You're like, I got this little verse in my pocket. Don't cast my pearls before swine. But then you don't read the rest of the verse where it says, because they might trample you. Because, yeah, we might actually trample you if you do that.
That's so funny.
Yeah, right? They love to just say the one part. But, okay, bye, Kian. Bye. I don't know why you're telling me bye. You can just leave. Like, people come and go from my chat all day.
It's not an airport.
You guys
You
keep
don't have to
tapping.
announce your departure.
No. You guys keep tapping the screen, sharing out the live. Let's get to 10,000 likes. I almost said shares. I love it when I say that. And 10,000 shares. No, don't do that. Hey, Jess, how are you? Yeah, so we'll just go back to talking about me. No, I'm just kidding. And my diagnosis. Anyway, that's what we were talking about before we got interrupted by Jordan, right? You know, so anyway, I think it had an accumulation of all those things. Like, you know, like I started feeling like I had done all that work on myself for nothing. And, you know, I don't know, like, and I just felt like I'm just weird and I'm always going to be weird.
And that's
I don't know,
okay.
maybe being 60 also, like just feeling like I'm just finding this out. You know what I mean? Like literally fucking 60 years of my life. Do you know how much it would have helped me if somebody helped me figure this out? Oh, I don't know, even 20 years ago? Even 20? I think 40 is late to figure that out.
Yeah, but I think that it is kind of interesting that it shows the progress that has been made even in your lifetime as far as like advancements in the mental health field and, you know, whatnot, which, yes, it's super unfortunate that you kind of had to, you know, the tail end is when you were able to benefit from that. But I just think it's interesting to see. And it's a good thing, you know, at the same time. But
I want to say two things. First, welcome to the Weird Club. We have cookies if you want and coffee. And to Jordan, if maybe he's here all over the place, I have a surprise. Jesus doesn't talk to the Gentiles in the New Testament. So doesn't mean that the people who are not from the Judea or Jewish, he doesn't care about them. So it's a thing very clear that Jesus say in the New Testament, this is not for the Gentiles, and the Gentiles don't will be safe. But the people will forget that.
Hey, Kyle, welcome in. It's so good to see everybody this morning. We have a lot of beautiful faces. Then Smoke Juju's there, Bible Auditor, Inquisitor Bacon. I don't know if Kian is still with us, but we like seeing the believers too. Pocket Senpai, good to see you. Welcome in, everybody.
I was going to say earlier, though, what's so interesting is the fact that you can take something from the Bible to condemn somebody, and then someone can also take from same Bible and condemn you. It's so incoherent, just like all of it, the message, all of it. Like, you just don't know what is right and what's wrong because it's always countered by something else. It's a freaking mess.
It
You
is.
know what
It
is
is.
funny? I'm philosopher, so my master is in theology. And when I'm talking about in a theology way, in academical way, they always have an excuse. And the excuse is the point if you don't have the Holy Spirit in your heart. So that 5 years you take for that master doesn't count. No, you can read it 10,000 times, but you don't have the Holy Spirit. That's the reason you say that. They always have excuse for putting in the way they want.
No, for sure, absolutely. But also, like, the Holy Spirit itself in the Bible is so incoherent. Like, the God doesn't even know what the left hand is doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's wild.
The Holy Spirit doesn't cease in the Bible after the Nicaea Council from Constantine. That's one of the other things. It was an added. It was like this. Let's make this new version when we are Romans now. So it's a lot of things who was copy pasted after the Nicaea Council. So the people forget that.
That's interesting. I'm very fascinated about the religion and the Bible from like a true historical standpoint, how it came together. Because it didn't happen, and it's not an account of things that happened. We know that, but
Hey, Crystal, in the future, are you going to do one of your anti sermons on the Holy Spirit that she started off as a woman, and then the Christians blended her to be something she isn't, and also made her basically a man?
I I don't. I mean, let me look into it. And see. I do know what you're talking about. I did you know that I learned all that one time um from Rabbi Hannah, because
Mhm.
what happened was I was talking to her about the fact that I had learned from DC about the Shekinah glory. Because listen, I grew up Methodist and then eventually became non-denominational and then eventually Quaker. There's no fucking Shekinah glory in any of those. Okay,
Yeah.
there's no Shekinah glory. I never even knew what that was. And then when I was telling Rabbi Hunt about it, she was like, wait, what? Because like she was like, wait, that's what they call like when the Holy Spirit comes over you. And I said, she goes, you know what? Shekinah is the feminine of God. And I'm like, wait, what? And
Mhm.
she, so she started explaining that to me and everything. And so I do not know, because I don't know if I've already come to the word Shekinah already. I might have passed it because it might not have considered it a woman when I was going through all the women in
Gotcha.
Genesis. Is she mentioned in Genesis or is it later? I'm only in Genesis.
I gotta look that up again. I don't know if you're part of her Patreon, but she actually did a whole class on it. I think it
Oh
was a
wow.
three-parter. Yeah, and so if you, and this is for anyone here, if you look up Rabbi Hannah, she does have a Patreon account in which she posts her classes on, and you can learn about all this stuff. And yeah, that's one of the classes I took from her. So that would be an amazing reference right there.
I want you to move over. See if I moved you to the right spot.
But
Nope.
I'm the kid at the back of the class. I enjoy it. The creepy kid who draws on the desk.
that's funny.
I wish I was kidding.
I can't find the spot. It numbers them instead of letting me pick the spot. So, I don't know. Is this the spot? There we go. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Ooh, I like this. This is the friendly side.
That's right. Now we can have the believers on the other side. You guys, if you, I'm in punishment for a few more minutes. And while I'm in punishment, we'll probably not get pushed out. But so ridiculous. It's so stupid. I cannot believe that they they're feeling so hurt, and then they call everybody else snowflakes. It's so funny to
Right.
me.
You're picking on my
Everything they
gun, so I'm gonna report you.
Oh, and I dropped him because
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
really what got him butt hurt, was that I didn't let him sit up here and be a jerk.
how dare you?
That's what really. Oh, it fell off. My restriction is gone now. So if you keep tapping the screen, sharing out the live, we should get pushed back out there again. You guys do all the good things. I really appreciate you. Also, you guys, if you're in my Discord, in my cup of kindness, that is where there are some places that you can donate. Tomorrow I'm going to see if I can remember to put a sticker or something up here with his information. But there's a member of our community that is a long time member who's just, he's just having a little bit financial difficulty right now. And it is Mech Jack. If you know Mech Jack, he's been around for a long time. He's just a fucking really super nice, cool dude. And if you can, I'd appreciate if you'd go over to my Discord, check out Cup of Kindness. You'll see his information in there. If you can send him a buck or two, I'd really appreciate it. You'll also see, I know, me too, board agnostic. You'll also see some information about Rabbi Hannah's wife was, just got accepted into furthering her school, and she just needs some stuff for her books and everything. So if you can help out either one of those people, I'd really appreciate it. And what I want to do is when I start going live on camera again, I think once a week, since there's so many people in the community who do need help, I'm going to try to sponsor somebody each week that we can kind of, try to help out if I can. Not do a major fundraiser. It'll just have their information up there. And then if you can, toss them $1 or $2, we'll do it, and see if we can't start helping some people out. The best we can, anyway. Yes, there is a Discord. The link is in my bio. It's for all my nibblings. Auntie Crystal and her nibblings are in the Discord. Yeah, it is what community is all about, board, and I know it's a hard time out there right now. So, well, come back up, Tahir. Come back up. And I feel like I feel bad sometimes because I wish I could help everybody, but obviously I can't. But I do think that sharing is a way people can help people, because sometimes, I might not have the funds or whatever, but somebody else might. That's all I'm saying. And if I share, maybe it'll get to that person. Hey, board.
Hi. Yeah, I agree with you so much. Sorry, I just came up to yap a little bit. Yeah, I agree with you so much. I think when we were all a part of the church, we thought our funds were going towards helping the community, and maybe in some way it did. But I think it's important to, now that we've left the church and left religion, to still give back to our community, to still support one another, because it's just so necessary. And I think oftentimes what we talk about in these deconstruction conversations is how bad this God is for the harm that he commits. But we need to put our money where our mouth is and say, well, if we
Yes.
want harm reduction, and people to not be suffering so much at the hands of this God, well, every dollar amount counts, and I think that's so important for us to keep in mind. You know, if we're going to be advocating for harm reduction, we need to be part of that process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
think that
I'm
that was
so.
one of, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think I have a lag. I think I have a lag, friend. I think I have a lag. I think that's my problem. I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm sorry. Okay, go.
No, I know you. No, I was just going to say that I think that one of the things that in my deconstruction that was, it seems so simple, but like was really eye opening to me was when the first time when I first realized I no longer believed and that prayer didn't work and it was all, just like talking to an imaginary friend. I remember the first time somebody like came to me and was like, I had this problem, and I thought, what do I do now that I don't pray? Like, I know that sounds so stupid, right? But I was like, what? Like, because I used to pray about this, and then I thought,
Yeah, you
oh,
pray about so
like
many
I have
things
to do,
too.
yeah. And now what the reality is, I have to do something. That's what I have to do, is not pray and actually do something. And so when somebody comes to me now, I have to think, is there anything I can do? Even if it is just to share with other people that they need help. If I can do that, maybe they will get the help, right? Maybe I do have $5. It's not a lot, but it's $5. And if everybody gives $5, it's going to help them eventually, right? And so it stopped being about that I'm going to send thoughts of prayers and now I'm going to do and share,
Agree, yeah. And even if even if we're only able to raise part of the amount, it's still better than nothing. At least we tried,
Right?
right? And inaction is better than inaction in this case,
Exactly. That's what
So
I was going to say.
I agree.
It forces action and accountability out of us, which is a good thing.
100%, I agree. I'm so curious about this background, Crystal J. What kind of responses have you gotten?
Nuh-uh.
Well, yeah, we did get,
Nuh-uh. Number one response ever, no matter the topic.
we did get my daddy loves me from Jordan. That was really deep. But usually
Evolutionarily,
I
really. Yeah.
I usually get things like, well, he was so into you that he died for your sins. And then I have to explain, like, well, a few things there. Like, one, I didn't want him to. Two, I don't sin. And three, it was arbitrary. But, that's usually, or, no, but God so loved the world, or I don't know. But they want to try to tell me that he is into me.
Yeah, I always think like these days my goal is to try to defeat the automatic apologetics that would come up, right? So if you're saying, well, God's just not that into you, well, the automatic apologetics is, well, he died for me, he sent the Holy Spirit here, all these things. And so I'm wondering if anybody's even mentioned those things, but other than the sacrifice of
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah. As a woman, sometimes they tell me he's into me because he made me in his image. And that should show me that he's into me. I don't know
Okay,
how that does, but
I've been debating with another atheist about this because somebody said, well, God has, okay, this might not be for your platform, I don't know, but somebody said God has nipples. Okay, and I'm like, no, God doesn't have nipples. What are you talking about? They're like, well, we're made in God's image and we have nipples. And I'm like, dude, come on, like, what are you talking about? Like, God is a spirit. And they're like, no, God is physical. He has a physical body and he looks like us. What else could it mean if God is made in our image? And I'm like, guys, Well, it's the Bible. Do you think anything is at face value here? What's happening? What are we talking about? What are we talking about here? God has 2 arms and 2
What?
legs like you and I? What are you talking about?
Have you
Does God
Crazy.
have a
ever
belly button?
have you ever read
No,
the
not
book?
does God have a belly button.
Have you ever read the book God and Anatomy by Dr. Francesca Strabakulu?
I am listening to it on Audible.
No.
Awesome. Yeah, so God even has a, lower member. Plot, spoiler alert.
He's got a ding-a-ling.
He's got a dingling. Yeah,
How did we get
it, it's
there?
not it's not until much later on when they start pushing this monotheistic perspective that he starts to become less physical and more spiritual. And basically by the time you get to the New Testament, it's completely 100% spiritual, no physical. So, but we do see that he has physical attributes within the Old Testament.
I thought it was all symbolic.
Yeah.
I thought.
I mean,
Vice,
I
what were you
think.
going to say?
Yeah, I was just. Do y'all think that when we're quote unquote made in his image, do you think he means sentience?
No, I don't think so.
Because,
I've
like,
always took it to mean like character, like the character of God. That he's trying to get us to align with his character, his attributes, right? He's trying to get people to conform.
for sure, it's just
Yeah, that's how
confusing.
I took it too.
Why he make angels like that though? That's
So
what,
many eyes, so many eyes.
and I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Because
Yeah,
God likes to watch.
I'm thinking about what you're saying, Nicholas, and I think I agree. Like in the Old Testament, God takes on physical forms to
Hmm.
interact with mankind, right? Like he's in a bush to talk to Moses. He's well, I guess dreams aren't that physical.
Well,
But he,
and
he talks
Wait,
to people through dreams.
so like from
Like a
Genesis, it
cloud,
says.
He's in a cloud.
Yeah, well, no, like right from Genesis, it talks about how he walks around the garden and he's making noise while he's walking, right? And then we also see where he's actually gone down to earth to places to check shit out, in Babylon, Sodom and Gomorrah. One of those angels was actually God, by the way. And then you get him physically wrestling in the desert with Jacob in the physical as a person. Like he came as a human a lot. And this is something that we see, it wasn't just a burning bush. It wasn't just, the wind or a cloud or a storm. We do see him coming in a physical form, which is what basically my number one argument is to Christians is he didn't need to send his son to be sacrificed because he could have just been walking around like he did in the Old Testament.
Yeah, I agree.
This
Yeah, I
could
think. Sorry, go ahead.
I was thinking this, Nick. Could the burning bush be a metaphor for like inflamed pubis?
well, that's a good question.
I think it was more that, burning bush, is getting a little elevated.
I like that better. But no, I was going to say, if you start picturing the things that happened in the Old Testament as God being some guy just like hiding and going into bushes and talking, pretending to be the bush, it just makes it really funny in your head.
It really does. It really does.
That is funny.
Yeah, even then, like if God is taking on all of these physical forms, well, that's only because, at least from my perspective, when I was a Christian, which I would still take that perspective if I'm reading the Bible, which is that God is a spirit and he can change forms as he pleases. And I think the Bible would affirm those things. But I agree with you that in the Old Testament, it's much more physical, and in the New Testament, it's much more like, I think, I feel, and therefore God.
Spiritual. It's a woo woo.
Yeah, 100%.
But I
Yeah.
mean, you also got to think, how many times in the Bible does it say God's sitting on a throne? If he's a spirit, he's not sitting on anything, right? That's still alluding to he is a physical being, not a spiritual one.
Okay, so this is where
Yeah.
I disagree. I think that, and this is my Christianese speaking, of course, right? So take this with a grain of salt. But I think when it talks about just he's sitting on a throne, I think that's just a way to convey God's authority and power to those who are reading the book, right? Like he's the one who's in control. He's sovereign. He's powerful. The King of Kings, the Lord of
Okay, but
Lords. Not that he's
why
actually
does he have
physically
many
sitting.
rooms? Why does he have many rooms in his mansion? If he did not have so, would I tell you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
No. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Why? I mean, and this was part of the debate that I was like debating with this atheist is like, why is that being conveyed? Why is that being said? You know, and it was to convey, at least if I recall. I'm going from point A to point B, so I can't necessarily pull up the scripture right now. But if I recall, it was to convey that there is plenty of room for you too to join into heaven. Right? There's room.
If you read the
I'm not
Bible,
an
okay,
op to
so
here. This was just my.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
just
yeah,
the.
yeah. Mm,
Oh, sorry.
I
sure.
Op
do not
shape.
believe in God. I do not believe in God. I do not believe in God. I
I'm
don't
just
believe any
kidding.
God's
Fake
true.
I don't
news.
know.
I just think
I don't
I
know.
just think like as a non-believer who has these conversations with believers, I think it's important for us non-believers to understand that this is a perspective that they hold and that the Bible also supports them and it supports us and our view, right? Because the Bible is so wishy-washy, it supports all the interpretations of scripture that you
Can
could possibly
can
have,
can I
right?
get
It
a
contradicts
one?
itself back and forth. But go ahead, sorry.
Can I get a one in comments if you think board is actually a sleeper agent for Christians?
I'm just here to pray for you guys, actually. If you guys can just bow your heads and close your eyes. If there's one among you who wants to
You
accept
know,
Jesus tonight, just raise your hand. Thank you.
I'm just saying, I've seen you play a pastor
I see
before.
your
You
hand.
played a
Thank
little
you.
too well. You just played a little too well, board.
Dude, did you see were you in my live on April 1st? Oh my
No.
god. Okay, good. Good. If you missed it, fantastic, because it will never happen again.
Tragic.
Um I wore I wore a wig and a whole bunch of makeup, and I was like, I made a post like the night before and was like, hey, what if I could be wrong, guys? What if I could be wrong? And I, not Bethany, no. And I was like, I think I could be wrong about this whole God stuff. And then I went live on April 1st, and I was like, guys, I have a confession. And then I did a face reveal, and I was like, I think I believe in God now.
Oh
And
no.
I was just cosplaying like a freaking Christian all day. It was hilarious. But if you missed it, you missed it. It will never happen again. I'm sorry.
I played the Christian in one live one time and I freaked out so many frickin' people. I haven't done it again because I think I legitimately scared some people with how like frickin' accurate I had those apologetics down.
Yeah. I think sometimes we get Christians that don't know enough about the Bible that it's easy to defeat. But I
Mm.
also think it's important not only to challenge Christians' ideas of Scripture, it's important to challenge our ideas of Scripture as well. Like, you can't be so set in stone that this is the way that things are, because the Bible is not that way.
I love
Unfortunately, the Bible is kind of open to interpretation, which is
I
why
love
people interpret it all so differently.
I
Board, what's
love
your
how
argument for that? What's your proof, Prof? What's your proof?
What's really fun board apologetics to do is I come from an LDS background before I became an atheist, right? So what I do is I look at LDS theology, I look at all the different Christian denominations interpretation, and I look at Judaism's background or Jewish theology as well. So having that whole mix and understanding of different how everyone interprets the Bible differently, it's like holy crap. So
Yeah,
I
it's very
100%.
interesting.
And Mormonism is so fascinating because you believe that there, I mean, not you necessarily, you know what I mean when I say you, but like Mormons believe that God still reveals new truths today in
Oh yeah, yeah.
2026. So the
Well, I mean,
theology
like,
is consistently morphing and changing
yeah.
as time goes on. Like, how the fuck do you defeat a beast that constantly changes and morphs? Like, that's
Well,
all other
and
types of
and
wildness.
here's the thing with like LDS, like they'll if the prophet says that, oh, we found new books, scripture, it would get added to the LDS like public library, and then it becomes canon to LDS doctrine and scripture, which is crazy, and it only needs 10 votes in the quorum of the 12 to become applicable to LDS theology. That's it.
It's fascinating stuff. It really is. But the the other problem that I find with LDS is that if you ever go on their website and you try to, look up things about, let's say, like plural marriages, it
Oh yeah, yeah.
contradicts itself often because there's like theology that says yes, you can have plural marriages, and then there's theology that
Well,
says no, you can't,
the
and then
the
there's
church
theology that says maybe.
the mainstream
What do you mean
LDS
by
church.
marriage?
So the mainstream church itself rejected polygamy in the 1880s under Brigham Young, and then the only really ones that really practice polygamy today are called the FLDS, which is like basically like a subcult that the LDS church has totally rejected. So like the LDS church doesn't even view them as even legitimate Mormons.
But you would still believe in. You wouldn't call it marriage. You would call it some other type of joining.
Exalting,
I
or
think that might be the
yeah,
phrase,
yeah,
but it wouldn't necessarily be marriages. But you would still be like joined
yeah.
with this woman.
Those are spiritual marriages. They're not legal marriages. They're more
Yeah.
symbolic.
But even that is like fascinating because, like I said, it depends on, I guess, how you would define
Because
marriage. Even
if you look at if you look at the Bible, really, the
I'll go
Bible doesn't
there.
really promote. If you really look at the Bible, it doesn't really promote monogamy. If you really
at
think
all.
about
Yeah, I agree.
it. And Christians get so mad when I say that. I'm like, show me in the Bible where it says that I have to be married to one person.
Yeah, I agree. There's my
And
biggest op
they
now.
point to
Constant. Sorry, go ahead.
they
I'm
point
sorry.
to Jesus. They point to Jesus saying one man and one woman.
Well,
Yeah.
back then there was multiple reasons why they had multiple wives too. It's not like the modern era. Back then the birthing unalivement rates were high and infant mortality rates were extremely high. So, it was like Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all just so I can get, a decent bloodline going. I'm
Oh
sick
God.
at the end of the day because we know birth unalivements were so high mainly because it was a lot of underage girls who were giving birth and their bodies just weren't equipped for it, but also because anyone who knows anything about pregnancy or birth, anything can go wrong at any time. So that's why they were basically having multiple wives. In today's era, the only reason why men want multiple wives is because they're pigs. They're pigs.
You would have loved my background last night. It showed the Bible endorses or the Bible is the first people to be poly or something. And oh my God, it triggered so many freaking. I had like 15, 20 Methodists for some fucking reason come through my freaking life. They're like, "What are you talking about?"
Fenrir would have loved that live. Hey,
Oh, it was
Vice.
great.
Why gotta be the Methodists? They're supposed to be the more open-minded ones. Dang. I
No,
was just
these
gonna
ones
say
weren't.
that.
Depends on
I
where
was just
they're at
gonna
in the
say that
world, man.
one of
I
the
mean,
most common ways that I was just gonna say one of the most common ways that women used to pass away back in the day was just through childbirth because we didn't have the modern day medical advancements we have now. Not only that, but we didn't know about hygiene like how we did back then because the midwives were more sanitary than a lot of the doctors were.
Yeah, yeah, they were.
Well, if I had multiple wives, like, how would you keep track?
And do I really want to be disappointing more than one woman at a time? No, I don't think so. I'm okay.
One for each day of the week. That's how you do it.
Like
Oh, Monday wife, come here.
I picture like King David, right? Like having like freaking like you know the numbers like for cows on their freaking ears or some shit.
Damn, not a tag.
Like 457 here.
Damn, diabolical. Yeah, I need to play Bethany more often. I think I do need to opt more, just because I don't know. I think it's important
Keep
to
us on our toes.
yeah
You gotta keep us on our
yeah.
toes.
I think sometimes we and I have to put myself in there as well, obviously. But like, I think sometimes we have a fallacious way of arguing that I think should be pointed out. You know, because I don't know.
Oh, I agree. Well, that's why I try to stay away from bias and examine religion and the text from an academic and critical perspective. And when you do
Yeah.
that, you know, I've noticed a lot of people that are atheists, they can have arguments that sound just like a Christian still. And it's like, you need to work on that. And they get so freaking mad at me. I'm like, and I love these atheists so freaking much. It's like, dude, like you got a wealth of information, but you're still arguing from a bias a little bit.
100%.
Well, also, what
I think
else do
there's like
people
two
do?
things. Sorry, go ahead, Krista.
Oh, I was just gonna say also one thing I see atheists do, and you know, maybe I'm guilty of this too. I'm not even saying it's not me. I'm just saying I see us do it. Is that a Christian will be making what is a good point and might be hard to argue, but they'll say a little word or something in there, and we will zero in on that instead of actually addressing the argument that they were making because it's an easy way
Yeah,
out.
the subs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Agree. I
I
think that
get
happens all the
crucified.
time. We argue how they say something instead of what they're saying.
Yeah.
And something I've learned too during deconstructing, it's okay to say I don't know. I'll get back to you.
Yes, it is.
Because like I'll talk to someone about a theology or denomination. I have no idea what the fuck it's about. Like I had someone that was Jehovah's Witness. I had the only thing I know very, 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 very little about that group. And so I'm like, I don't know anything about you. So like, what do you guys believe?
I can't go into atheist spaces where I don't know the people anymore because they get so mad at me when I correct them on different Bible verses and stuff. They get like so mad. They're like, "Are you a believer?" And it's like, "No, I just know the
Okay.
Bible. I'm sorry."
Let's pick on atheists for a minute a little bit more. Okay, what are some of your arguments that atheists say that are wrong that you go like, why are you even saying that? For instance, I've heard probably 12 times this week that God used a whore named Mary Magdalene, and the atheist goes, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, she wasn't a whore. What the fuck? You're an atheist. You should fucking correct them on that. Anyway, there's things like that that drive me absolutely crazy when I'm in the chat.
That I agree, Os. That's one, especially when you examine the scriptures from an academic perspective, and it's oh my god, that was a text that was added by basically misogynists to make women look bad in that time period, and it's like
absolutely,
it's
and it was
fucking disgusting.
retracted.
Yeah,
it was retracted by the Catholic Church, and it was like I don't even remember when, but it was recently. It was in like in the last 100 years.
I don't know if you've heard this before. She was from Magdala, Mary of Magdala, and she might have been a priestess of Persephone. I don't know if you've heard that theory about her, which is why she was like always like why she was considered condemned like by the church like in that way, because they were trying to remove the paganism from her background.
Yeah, they are trying to do that. Vice, what did you want to say?
So it grinds my gears when the argument against Leviticus 18:22 or whatever is that they were talking about PDF files. Like,
Yeah.
no.
No, they weren't. That's not what that says. And atheists should not be using that argument either. Atheists, we hold you to a higher standard. Nicholas, what did you want to say?
Oh, the whole passage that Jesus was a PDF because he was sleeping with a naked kid, that is not remotely anything to do with what the passage was saying. Like,
It's
like,
true.
he
But
was
if
never
I ever
naked.
pull that out, Nick, if I pull it out jokingly, don't you correct me. Because sometimes I do it just to say, just to be a dick to
Yeah.
somebody who's already a bigot that I'm talking to. Like if I'm talking to a bigoted, homophobe, freaking racist, sometimes I just like to make him think, why was your Lord in a garden with a naked boy?
Right?
But,
Or
you know,
I
it
find
drives
it.
me
You
nuts.
are right. You are
Yeah.
right, Nicholas.
I
It
find
drives
it.
me nuts when they're like, he was sleeping with a naked boy. Number one, Jesus wasn't sleeping. Number two, the boy wasn't naked until the Romans grabbed onto him and his clothing got ripped off. Like, it
Right.
drives me nuts when they do that.
He was commando. I mean, I don't know. Was that popular back then? Was everybody
Everyone
commando?
probably
I don't know.
was letting it all hang
Probably,
out.
huh?
Damn.
I mean, if you're sleeping in the middle of the desert, you wouldn't be wearing much either. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Probably
I
needed
I
to let those air out.
I think there's two things because I was already like for the most ish part deconstructed when I joined TikTok, but two really major things that really expanded my thinking is like things are hardly ever black and white, right? There's so much nuance to everything, and I think that's something that a lot of atheists tend to lose. They have this very rigid way of thinking that is problematic. It's problematic when you lose the nuance. You stop learning. You stop trying to see another person's perspective, and that's definitely not helpful. And then the other thing is black and white thinking, and God, I had another one, and then I lost it. I'll remember in like 10 minutes, probably. But go ahead.
You know who are notorious for black and white thinking that are atheists that miss the context and totally miss what the Bible's talking about from an academic perspective. I've noticed Levian atheistic Satanists. I love them, but they still have that. They can be just as bad as Christians.
I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, you do.
Theistic Satanism?
Yeah,
Like Levian Satanism?
Levian Satanism that follow the Church of Satan, and they're atheists, but they still follow a form of objective like morality within their codes and creeds. And it's like they can be just as bad as Christians when it comes to that type of thing.
I remembered it was the fact that we can also be wrong, right? Like we were wrong. We were wrong about Christianity, and many of us believe that more than we've been atheists. And so we were wrong back then, even though we believed, and we could be wrong again today. Like we're not like let me be real. We're not wrong about the God not being real, right? But some of the small points that we argue to get there, we could be wrong about. We could be wrong. And we should be open to being corrected and being wrong.
I was told once I became an atheist, I was never wrong again. I don't know what is this. Like I
hate to break it to you.
I don't.
It's not a cheat code to be right. I wish it was.
No.
But yeah.
No,
I've
man,
been wrong tons of
I am
times.
wrong probably more than I'm right in my life, you know, and I don't mind being corrected. I also, you know, let's face it, being indoctrinated as young as I was 3 years old when I went to live with my aunt and uncle and became indoctrinated. I'm sure, so much shit to deconstruct. So I want to be corrected and I want to learn, and I don't mind being wrong. If I did mind being wrong, I wouldn't have left the church. You know what I mean?
Exactly, I agree.
Atheists don't want to admit that I'm not maybe speaking about you guys because we're all getting pretty educated on the Bible. I mean, we hang out with people like Rabbi Bert, Rabbi Hannah, we're out here getting our education. But something I found with a lot of atheists, and I listen to their lives and I listen to their arguments, and I'm like, are you guys aware you're just as indoctrinated as Christians are? Except for
Hmm.
you traded a pastor for a biblical scholar. But you seem to think that the biblical scholars can't also be wrong. I mean, Dan McClellan
Exactly.
posted a video, was it a few weeks ago, that they're now dating John even later. Like, scholarship is always changing, so why are they,
So did Dan admit that he was wrong about Jared?
no, he would never admit that.
Because isn't that what Jared said about John?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yeah, it is what Darren said about
Well,
John. And I said, my, how the turns have tabled. Like, look at this.
Right?
well, you got to remember too, like with art, with if there is any archaeology that comes from this shit, like science, archaeology, and what we find in antiquity always changes with it whenever we find anything. So, like, I give Dan a little bit of grace because I know Dan's LDS. So one thing in LDS theology they believe in, or Board mentioned it, is the idea that Scripture can always be revealed. So I give Dan a little bit of grace with that one. So I don't judge him too harshly.
I stopped giving Dan that grace when he, quote, poisoned the water hole. So I got really excited. Oh God, what was it last year when this all went down, Crystal? He was live.
Yeah.
And I got really, really excited to see Dan live because he never goes live. And they were talking about him and the other Dan. I don't even know who the other Dan is, but anyways, that doesn't matter. They were talking about mythicism and people who don't believe in the existence of Paul. That those of us who believe that it was someone writing under a what do you call it, pseudonym. And he said that people who believe that Paul didn't exist either aren't scholars or they're just trying to further the narrative that Jesus didn't exist. That right there poisoned the water hole. Because now you got atheists, agnostics, you've got the younger generations who are watching them, all believing that those of us who don't believe in the existence of either just have no backing and we don't know what we're talking about. And that's when I lost a lot of respect for the man. Like, a lot of respect.
Well, I also lost respect for him when he said that stellometry is pseudoscience. What are you talking about? No, it isn't, and it's been respected science for a really, really long time. So what?
Well, not only that, but Stylo does the exact same thing that they've been doing to figure out who wrote what, when, where, and why, and how. Only it does it faster. So, like, what's the issue here? It frustrated me. That live frustrated me.
Isn't it a part of data science?
It is,
Yeah.
So it's in the name.
Because they're trying to make it sound.
Data science.
Yeah, like what they're doing is they're trying to make it sound like when you run a piece through Stylo, it will tell you who the author is. No, that's not what it does. It does comparisons of writing to see how many authors there were, the differencing in wordage and stuff like that. Like they're trying to make it sound like Stylo. They're using Stylo as something that they aren't using it for because they've never actually looked into it for themselves.
So just
Like,
because they don't know something or know about something, it doesn't exist?
yeah, pretty much.
Or
Pretty much.
or it's
So,
pseudoscience.
Or it's pseudoscience, yeah. That can't be trusted. But
Oh,
that's
I'm
what I
sorry.
mean.
I didn't.
But that's what I mean. He
I'm sorry,
poisoned the
board.
water hole. He poisoned the water hole, and that is not okay. That is not okay.
Where are the Sour Patch Kids?
I think what it is too, Dan's not an atheist. Like, so Dan doesn't really cater to deconstructing people, even though deconstructing people follow him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not an atheist
No, we don't know
either,
that.
but
Yeah.
that's still, I won't give him the grace
No,
for that. I will not give him grace for that.
he does try to give himself an air of I'm doing this all from a not, from I'm not using any of my biases, okay? But that it's just not true. Like, first of all, we all know that we all use our biases whether we want to or not, right?
Yeah.
But second of all, he's not doing it when he says things like he basically in the live showed that he did not know very much about stilometry, and so instead of saying, well, this isn't my expertise, and I'm actually not really interested in learning about it, which is you don't have to learn everything in the world. I think it's ridiculous that people think that a Bible scholar should also know everything about, say, cosmology or something. Why? That's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So why should he know about stilometry too? But instead of saying that, he then went to say after basically like he doesn't know very much about stilometry, then to go on to say it's pseudoscience. If you don't know much about it, then don't make comments like that.
Yeah, it throws his whole adage of data over dogma out the frickin' window.
Yes.
I mean, he's a brilliant scholar, don't get me
Hi,
wrong,
Aaliyah.
but that biblical bias is there, the believer bias is there. Even as a believer, you can't be scared that somebody might be popping up with new information that disproves your God. Like, you gotta, if you're gonna preach data
Hey,
over
Carrie.
dogma, you gotta look at all avenues.
Christina. Vice wanted to say something. I'm saying hi to everybody in chat. Sorry. Sorry. Go ahead, Vice.
I don't think people understand you can rephrase a statement as a question so easily. Like earlier, I asked, what it does made in his image actually mean? Because I did not know. Like,
Yeah.
It never made sense to me, so I asked. I'm not going to make a statement about something I don't know about.
Are we having the pineapple on pizza debate in the chat, you guys?
Yes, pineapple
What's going
on pizza.
on?
Look, it's not a debate, okay? It's not a debate. Pineapple doesn't belong there. All right, you stay in the fruit salad where you belong, and the pina colada where you belong.
There's literally pineapple cheesecake, though.
Okay,
Pizza
on the
is-
cheesecake where you belong.
Okay.
This is
cheese and pineapple
Listen.
go together.
Pineapple and Canadian bacon are ham. Like, what are you talking about? Pineapple has been served with ham for centuries at least.
Even
that doesn't mean that it should.
even sweet and sour
Board.
pork, they put pineapple in
Board.
it.
No,
Board.
don't come up here boarding me.
Board.
No.
Tomato is a fruit.
Sweet and sour.
But if it's all mashed up with
There's
like
no such
vinegar
thing
and
as a
sugar,
vegetable.
it's not really fruit.
Bell pepper is a fruit.
There's no such
Hey,
thing as
I
a
get-
It's
vegetable.
barely. It's
I
There's
barely.
no
get-
such
I
thing.
get-
There's no such thing as a vegetable. A vegetable is
no-
a social construct.
But there's certain fruits that are more fruity, and then there's certain fruits that are vegetable.
That's not a real adjective.
This is my
That's not
scientific.
true.
Nope. This is my
That's not a
scientific
true
conclusion,
sure.
and
No,
I think that you shouldn't dismiss my information.
Okay, so first
I'm
of
a
all,
chemist.
P1, tomato is a fruit. P2, bell pepper
Wrong.
is a
I
fruit.
disagree with P1.
Careful,
Piece
board.
of
That might
tomato
be
is a
biased.
P2.
Does it? Okay, Can you define a fruit? And don't say yourself. Define a fruit.
But also true.
Technically, anything that's seed
A
bearing
pineapple.
is a fruit.
It blooms. It blooms from a flower. Okay, tomatoes
A
bloom from a
pineapple.
flower. Bell peppers
That's
bloom
the
from a
definition of
flower.
a pineapple.
Pineapples. So pineapple is the only fruit. That's a category error. Board.
No, it's not.
Brussels sprouts are a brassica.
What's
Someone's
the
asking in
error?
the comments. Also,
Special
broccoli.
pleading, board.
Special pleading. Yeah, special
pleading.
Special pleading. And broccoli's a flower. If you catch it, you cut it right before it blooms, but it blooms into these tiny little yellow flowers. There's no such thing as vegetable. These are all flowers.
Look, if
These are all
the
fruit.
pineapple on pizza is gonna come down to if I think pineapple is a fruit and fruit doesn't belong on pizza, well, that's just
what I'm saying to you is fruit does belong on pizza.
You're just dismissing what I'm saying. I believe that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, regardless of if it's a fruit.
If you think pineapple is bad on pizza, my cousin, and this should be a freaking sin, in high school decided to cut up a banana
probably
and
is.
put it on a pizza.
That's the 600th Levitical law, actually.
You can't use fruit doesn't belong on pizza as your argument when fruit is pizza. Like tomatoes
here's the argument.
Are the essence. Tomatoes are the essence of pizza.
P1,
And tomatoes are
pineapple
fruit.
is good.
Wait,
P2,
what if you have a
pizza's
white
good.
sauce pizza?
That's fine. You can have that.
P3, pineapple on pizza is yucky.
No,
that's my conclusion, actually.
Okay, so that's not. What is that? How do you ground that?
Have you ever had pineapple on pizza?
It's an ontological truth.
It's okay, but it's your subjective experience.
No, it's subjective.
That's subjective.
These are objective
It's
truths
subjective.
about reality.
You saying that it's yucky is subjective.
Yucky is actually an objective term.
It's not.
I ground that in the laws of logic itself.
No, because that's a contradiction, and logic is non-contradictory.
No. Yummy and yucky would be contradictory. But just because there's two yummy things, it's like having like a double negative, and then it turns into a positive for the yuck factor. You know?
No.
Because pizza's yum, pineapple's yum, but together, yuck. You know?
It's fine.
Look, I don't want to yuck your yum. I was just going to quietly block you, but now...
No, you have an unsophisticated palate. Like, just say that. Like, just say that you have...
Wait.
That's not true.
Have you
No,
had
just
pineapple?
concede. Are you...
No, I can't concede. I can't concede.
Have you had
You're
pineapple on
conceding.
pizza, board? If you haven't
This is
had
an
pineapple on
epistemic
pizza,
justification for my ontological view.
Well, here's
Yes,
the thing,
I
board.
have,
And
it's
if you
yucky.
haven't, well, okay. I was gonna say if you haven't had it, then that would be a bias. But
Okay, so I have had fruit on pizza. One time I had like a apple and like some type of like stank cheese on a pizza. That was actually pretty bomb. But pineapple is just
so fruit
too
does
yuck.
belong on
Too
pizza.
Pretty much
But not
always
pineapple,
have fruit
though.
on
Not
pizza.
pineapple.
You
Not
pretty much
pineapple.
always have fruit on pizza.
I'm not negating the fruit.
I mean,
I'm negating the
technically,
pineapple.
tomato is a fruit, isn't it?
You're failing to like.
Zucchini is a fruit.
Is my argument that fruit doesn't belong on pizza, or that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza?
You just.
Well, I think to me that's a hate crime on pineapple. Like that's discriminatory.
But I
against
love pineapple. I just believe that it has a place, and its place is not everywhere.
It's a heresy.
That's heresy.
I'm sorry.
You can't deny that one now, can you? Now can you? That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I'm sorry, but that
Therefore,
sounded
the conclusion,
racist.
Pineapple, yuck.
That sounded racist. You know, pineapple can exist. It can exist, just not everywhere. God, what the hell?
Segregating pizza.
I didn't know that.
Such
I
is
didn't know
life.
that you put limitations on where something can and cannot exist. I didn't think that's who you were.
I'm a fruitist. This is who I am. Like,
Wow.
I don't know what to say.
You heard it
Yeah.
here
Not all
first.
fruits belong everywhere. I hate to say pineapple on like a little al pastor.
Pineapple lives matter.
Divine, magical, amazing.
Pineapple lives matter.
I see what they're doing there. Pineapple on.
I don't think you've had
pizza?
the right pizza.
Yeah.
I don't think you've had the right one.
This is the problem, Aaliyah. There is no right pizza here. There is no
The
right
thing
pizza.
is, The thing is, I just think
everybody.
I want to know, like, are you
pineapple
pizza
lives matter.
hurt? Are you pizza
Here's
hurt?
the not like church hurt. No. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Okay, I have ices in my car, and you know it's hot out here. So I bid you adieu. Okay, Crystal. Thank you for having me on your panel.
I love you,
I bid you adieu
I
for the
love
sake of these
you.
ices.
He's
I
running. He's
do.
running.
I do. He's running. He's running.
Oh, she's running. She ran. Typical Fruitus. Running.
Yep.
Wow.
That was such a Judas move, board. No, I'm kidding.
She's running. She is running. All right.
Sorry,
you
I just
guys.
came up here to defend pineapple, and that's it. I have nothing else to say. Thank you.
Aaliyah, I love you. You guys make sure you're following Aaliyah and Board and Girls Gone Godless and Christina the Godless and Vice and Robin and Bible and Nicholas. Make sure you follow everybody. Like, just, we're all fun. Follow us. Make sure you're following me too, because what the fuck? This is my show.
I was just gonna say I didn't get a response from Board earlier, but me and Board both make fun of that same guy who Django, the chainsaw guy, whatever is it? The guy who goes, "What's the
Yes.
argument for that? What's your proof, Rob? What's your proof?" I did that earlier, but I didn't get a reaction out of her. I was like, dang.
I knew what you were doing too.
That's great.
What's your proof? You guys, we have no ops today, and I just wanted to talk about how God's not that into you. You know he's not.
I
Do you
guess
guys
the
know that
proof is in
super
the pudding.
crazy song that goes, "I love God, you love God"? What's wrong with you? Sometimes that song plays in my head. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
No, I actually don't know that song.
I don't know.
I would
either.
not want that stuck in my head, though, for sure.
At all.
That's the whole fucking song. I'm not even joking. It's just her with like saying that with music on loop. I don't know who does that song, but just imagine I'm trying to go to sleep at night, and then the next thing I know, I hear, "I love God, you love God." What's wrong with you? I know it sounds so stupid.
You know, Jesus only shows himself to those who believe in him. Crystal, have you ever actually tried reaching out?
I did actually one time. I tried to, I tried to reach out. So I started by first like praying, and really didn't hear anything back. It was kind of quiet. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll go outside and just yell. Like maybe I have to be louder. Maybe it's a volume thing. My decibels need to be louder. But I realized later that it wasn't that. It's that frankly my voice, has too high of a pitch, because God loves the bass in a voice. He really does. That's what he's into.
Well, here's the thing. Jesus taught us how to pray. Like, are you praying properly, or are you just praying to get?
Yeah.
Because he's not going to answer you if you're just praying to get.
No, but he also said that I could pray for anything I want, and he would give it to me.
Were you the audience, or was his disciples the audience?
God bless you. How are you?
It's very loud. That is very, very loud. I'm so sorry. I'll have you up if you come back in a quieter place. That was too loud in my headphones. I'm sorry, you guys. But come back up, Usant, if you want, but please get into a quieter place.
Thing is, he was talking to. Oh, sorry, Vice.
Sorry. You know when something happens and it tingles your brain in the wrong way? That's what.
Yes.
That's what just.
Yes.
as someone with ADHD, that does do TikTok lives, when there's a shit ton of people commenting crazy shit in my comment section, and I have weird background noise, it's overload. I'm like, no, we're not having that. Be gone, Satan.
So here's the thing, Crystal, back to the conversation before I was rudely interrupted by these atheists here, because I guess, Christian voices don't matter. Yeah, so like he was talking to his disciples at that point, not to everybody, the whole anything you ask in my name, unless you're a disciple, he's not going to do that, Crystal.
Oh, wait, what? He was only talking to his disciples?
Yeah, he was only talking to his disciple. Are you a disciple?
How can you prove that he only meant that for his disciples?
Because he was only specifically talking to his disciples at the time.
But I thought it was the whole world.
No, those messages were specifically for the disciples only. That's why even after his unalignment, they were still able to go out and heal people in the book of Acts.
Okay, so then when he was talking to the Beatitudes, he wasn't talking to everybody either. Then when he was talking to how he could, anytime he spoke, then he was only speaking to the people he was speaking to. So I don't really have to listen to much what Jesus had to say because he never talked to me.
Well, that argument there is actually what made me leave Christianity.
I mean, you're right, but however, we were eventually grafted in to be of his
Well,
children.
then his message does matter to me. Like, so things he did say mean to
No,
me too. You can't have it both ways, Nicholas. You
Yeah.
can't have it both ways. If we take his messages to only be for those people who he was speaking to at the time he said them, then I don't have to listen to anything Jesus said, unless then you're saying we were grafted in and now I do get to take those messages. So which is it, Nicholas?
There were messages that were specific for the believers and messages
How
that
do
were
you know
specific
which
for the
ones?
disciples.
How do you know?
It depends on who he's talking to, and the Bible is specific on who he's talking to, who his audience is in every specific. I'm sorry you didn't read the Bible. That's your problem, not mine at the end of the day.
Oh, I have read the Bible, Nicholas. I have read that every word is the inspired word of God, which means it is all to me. And every word of it does not go out void. Anytime I read any words from it, God can move inside of me. So it was all written to me, Nicholas.
Just because it's the inspired word of God doesn't mean it was all written to you. I mean, I think you're forgetting about the Jewish people unless you're anti-Semitic, but that's a different, conversation for another time.
Peter says the church is for
Not the
everybody.
Are you trying to say that as a Christian, I'm not supposed to listen to the Old Testament? That sounds anti-Semitic, Nicholas.
No, that's.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have Usant back. Let's see if he has a better connection. Usant, are you at a quieter place now?
I think so.
Okay, how are you
Much
today?
better.
Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Sorry?
Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
34.
Okay, and are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
I'm a believer in the God of the Bible, that it's the same God in all the scriptures.
Okay, and what are your pronouns?
My pronouns?
Yes, he, him, she, her, they, them.
I am.
No, you are not. You are he, him, she, her, they, them.
I am.
Okay, if you don't know what an English pronoun is, we probably aren't going to be able to speak. So I'm going to drop you back down again. Plus, your noise is still pretty bad. But you are not, I am, if I'm talking to you, Pumpkin. You have to have another type of pronoun. I am would be when I'm talking about myself, not somebody else.
Or maybe that was Yahweh on the panel, bro.
Yeah, maybe.
Nah, too late.
Want you breath?
If you want to give us your pronouns in the chat, I'll bring you back up. But otherwise, I'm not bringing you back up. Hey, all right, Robin, you better come back. I haven't seen you in a while, and I really didn't get a chance to say hi to you yet because we've been yapping. Hey, Open Book, good to see you. Good to see everybody. You guys, I will be live for about another hour and 15 minutes. So keep sharing out the live, doing all the good stuff. Make sure you collect your points too. Those points that you collect boost me in the daily rankings. Those rankings help push me out to the algorithm today and every day. So we want to, be pushed out into those rankings.
And by the way, guys, those microaggressions was just acting. That was painful. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But like that's just like a small amount, just a preview of the menace that I was when I was a Christian. Like, oh, I was a terrible human being.
You forgot First Peter that replaces the covenant and that we are the chosen royal priesthood.
Look, I know the Bible. You don't need to be quoting it at me, sir. But like the important part is we were grafted in, but we are not, in fact, disciples. There were specifically 12 disciples. I mean, pick up the book.
No, he said make disciples of the whole world.
But that never happened, did it?
It did. The church.
Can you do this?
Satan never prevailed over the church. Don't you know?
Can you do this? It burns.
Usant, we have oxygen that we breathe. I don't know why you're asking people what we breathe in the chat. It's oxygen, and we get that. We are able to breathe that due to our atmosphere and the way our atmosphere is set up.
You guys can breathe because I haven't been able to breathe in like a week. Like, I'm jealous right now.
I breathe in logic and breathe out stupidity.
There's a Bible verse about that.
Do a live on respiration if that's a problem.
You guys, this is what he says. He said, you use it to breathe, and only nitrogen creates DNA, and pressure is not oxygen.
Under pressure.
Speaking of breath, one of my favorite ones growing up hearing was, if you breathe in and out, it sounds just like the word Yahweh.
Oh yeah. Well, it was supposed to sound like a breath. That is a true thing. That is why it is said the way it is, and that is why they, it's very sacred and holy. To Jewish people, they won't even say it because it was supposed to be like a breath.
Itching.
Now the funny one is when they try to say it's written in our DNA. That's the funny one.
Oh shit! Don't get me started.
No.
Or the laws written on our hearts. No, it's not. We're not Jews. Like no.
And I'm sorry, but if it were written on...
Oh, go ahead, Vice.
I'm sorry, but if it were written on our heart, we would have a problem.
God, I heard a joke yesterday. It was really funny. Is that Moses was the first person to get information from the cloud onto a tablet.
That's funny.
I mean, we're made of nitrogen, partly. I'm confused as to what he's saying now.
I see. I can't tell if some of it is because of a language barrier or if it's just from him being uneducated. I cannot tell the difference actually in this conversation.
With some believers, for me, it's a tie. Not gonna lie.
Christina, it has to be wild to you, and like especially like to me when you realize like you're talking to people and you're like, but Crystal seems like she's relatively smart. Why did she believe in this shit? I mean, at least that's the way I see it. You talk to atheists who were in this for so long, and you think, God damn, you sound so intelligent. How did you fall for a donkey that talked? You know, I don't know. We were indoctrinated. That's why.
Man, did you say relatively intelligent? Because that's a
well, I
fallacy.
think I'm relative.
You're really intelligent. The fuck.
Aw, thank you. I always feel like, well, I feel like I have at least a normal amount of intelligence. I think I do. I don't want to be the walking Dunning-Kruger effect or something. I don't want to sit here and think that I'm smarter than I am either. I always hope that I'm not the smartest person in the room.
Okay, so the average American has a 6th grade reading level. You're more than average, Crystal. Hate to tell you.
Okay.
That's what Vice. That's what scares me when I hear these apologists, right? Like, if you have a 6th grade reading level, like, how are you going to be able to interpret what Scripture says? You know?
The Holy Spirit.
Oh God.
That created 40,000 denominations for some reason.
I call that the holy editor because I notice when you talk about like Levitical law, right? And especially the shit that's uncomfy to them, they're like, oh, you need the context of the Holy Spirit. Like, why? So you can cherry pick and a narrative and basically edit what you want. Oh, my favorite is the Christian misogynist.
So most
isn't that like every Christian man? Then is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Because I don't
some
really
are really bad
know.
about it though. Like I had one yesterday. Like,
I don't.
You just call them Pookie Bear or get under their skin. That's what I like to do.
Oh, I don't need to do anything. I just need to exist, and I'm already under their skin. My voice irritates the fuck out of them. They'll come up here. Actually, this morning we were on a live, and I cannot remember who the Christian was, but I was on a live with Mama Bash, okay? And Zena May was talking to the guest, and the entire time the guest would interrupt. He would interject. He laughed at her with that fake Christian laugh that they do. He was so like disruptive. And then Bash came up. And this man went like from this. Wait, let me show you his attitude. He was like this, Nicholas. He was like, "What are you talking about? What are you doing? What are you saying?" You know, when Senator Bay's talking, then Bash came up and he was like, "Yes, yeah, I understand. Yes, I do. I understand." And I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck?" Like, oh my God, you became a puppy dog the minute a man spoke. While you were up here with all women, you were losing your ever-loving mind. You could not stop interrupting. You could not stop being belligerent. Suddenly a man comes up, says the exact fucking same thing that Zena May was saying. And he was so calm and docile.
You know what's funny is I had one yesterday come in my life, right? And I said, when I called him Pookie Bear, right? Or Sweetie, when they get pissy and like belligerent or talk over me, he, out of fucking left field, you're a man. You shouldn't say that. I'm like, first of all, my pronouns are they, them. So I don't identify with that. Like, that's not real. I'm like, bro, like, get the fuck out of here. It's just funny as fuck.
Christian men are so submissive to men. Like, they're so submissive. It's like,
yes,
I'm the man, I'm masculinity, and at the same time, oh yes, please serve me, I have some more. Like, the fuck?
Yeah, they really are.
Have some more.
You said something so controversial.
Okay, so today's topic is God's not that into you. And basically, the reason is because a few years ago, there was a book written by a man who was teaching women. You need to mute when I'm talking because I can't even hear myself talk with your background noise. And I'm going to mute you too, Nick. Anyway, he was telling women, men are showing you they're not that into you by the way they treat you. And the way that God is written in the book, he really is not into us, and especially not into women. He hates women. What do you say to that?
That's a lie, big lie. Actually, God is a mother. It's not a father. And it tells all the scripture this. In Isaiah 66:13, you have God is a mother. You have in Revelation 12, in Isaiah 42:14. All the scripture says God is a mother. I agree that the man is the bad one. It's the devil. I agree. But the Bible doesn't hate women. Only Paul and Peter hated women. Because they
No,
loved
I
men.
disagree.
Peter
And I don't know why you
Peter
say
killed two
God is
people.
a mother in the beginning. He's not treated as a woman in the beginning.
Yeah, and that's why
Nicholas, did you want to address this?
the manipulation is that they make
Yeah,
believe that. Look, what means mercy? You know what mercy means?
I don't see any mercy coming from this God because even with New Testament
I'm not
theology,
asking this. I'm
you,
not asking this. I'm
there,
asking what the word mercy means.
It's a suspension of justice.
No, it means womb.
what?
No, it doesn't.
That's not
Yes,
what
it
it
does.
means.
Yes, it
No, it
does.
doesn't. No, it
Look,
doesn't. It means a suspension of justice.
it
I'm
doesn't.
sorry. Maybe in
Okay.
It
your
comes from
language it
Hebrew.
means something, but in English,
English is not a
mercy
language.
is.
English is a piece of crap. English is a made-up language.
All languages are made up,
Okay.
pumpkin.
No,
All
no, no.
languages are made
English
up.
it's made up to be a
All
shit
All
language.
languages are made up.
You
all
see that
All
languages.
languages are made up.
people that talks in English are retarded.
Oh yeah, you're like
Oh,
gone.
now you're gone. Why do they gotta go do the slurs? Why? What the hell is wrong with you?
And he's speaking
What
English.
is
That's
wrong with
crazy.
you? I know you're speaking English, first of all. And second of all languages are made up, pumpkin. And third of all, you don't have to say slurs and be an ableist. Why are all of you Christians always coming up here and being pieces of shit for no reason? Nobody did anything to you. Now
So
you did it in my chat too, so I have to block you. No, I'm going to mute you. I'm not going to block you right now, but stop. Stop it. What
you
is
are
wrong with you?
you are not using the fruits of the spirit, Usant, and you are not Jesus because Jesus would not use slurs. Well, actually, shit. I can't. Never mind. I retract. I retract. Shit. Never mind.
Call the woman a
Yeah,
whole bitch.
damn. I know. I'm sorry. I retract. I understood my error immediately. I'm sorry. My bad. Damn.
That was a human glitch in real time. That was cool.
That was a glitch.
I just got restricted for bullying again and harassment.
We
Dude,
gotta
he was the
block him
harasser.
then.
He was the
What?
harasser.
I know. Wait, I need to hear what you said, Nick. What?
He needs to be blocked then because he would be the one
I
who
did.
was.
I did block him.
Okay.
I did block him, but I still have it. It says your live contains themes that some may find uncomfortable and has been restricted reason harassment and bullying. So I got the harassment and bullying, even though this motherfucker is the one who did it. What the hell?
Of
And it didn't
course.
even tell me like drop him. It just gave me the harassment and bullying. I think it already no. And this time it's not like for 10 minutes. It says issued on
That's bullshit.
I don't know. It's bullshit, but I'm only live for one more hour, so. But anyway, he is blocked. He is blocked. I'm sorry, Vice. I just wanted to make sure I heard because I wanted Nick to know I did do it. Yeah, fuck TikTok. Like, what the fuck, man? I blocked him. Y'all get so upset. Like, if you say that we're too mean to Christians, and look at what they do, TikTok. We're having a lovely conversation, and they gotta come up here and be horrible human beings. And everything he said was stupid anyway. What are you talking about? When is God, when is Yahweh, God, ever presented as a woman?
Never. Never.
Not once.
There is another deity that is like Lady Wisdom. I don't know if you guys know about that.
Well, there's lots of female deities, but Yahweh isn't presented as a female entity.
No.
So that was just bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't even get to argue that one because he decided to drop the slurs real fast. So, but that just
I'm
shows
sorry.
he does not have the fruits.
I did see we had somebody else in the. I had to take care of that. Sorry, Jay. Wait, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Hello.
Jay Witt, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, 26.
Are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Okay, and what are your pronouns?
I guess he him.
Alrighty. So today we're talking about how God's just not that into you. And the reason why we're talking about this is there was a book. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. Is it some years back there was a book out called He's Just Not That Into You? And a guy wrote this book telling women, look, if he was into you, he would show you that he's into you. He'd be nice to you. He'd be loving. He'd be kind. But he's not. He's leaving you on read. He's disrespectful. And God definitely does not treat people good. And in the Bible, and especially women, he treats women like shit.
So when you say he don't treat people good, so when you say he don't treat people good, you're saying he treat them bad?
Yeah, from the beginning, he's kind of shitty. Like, the whole garden story, I think is just ridiculous. I'm going to make a garden. I'm going to put these people in it. And then I'm going to tell them not to eat this tree. But I'm going to put the tree right in the middle and make it irresistible. I'm going to put a snake in there to tempt them. And then when they do eventually eat it, because I know they're going to, because I'm God, I'm going to punish all of eternity because, I don't know. He sounds pretty evil to me.
So you think that's bad, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Like, they didn't even know what was right or wrong. They didn't know who was good or bad. They didn't know if God was the protagonist or the antagonist. They didn't know anything. They were just little babies, basically. And then he did that to them. That's pretty shitty.
So how do you know that bad is this under your worldview?
I'm not talking about morally bad. I'm talking about the fact that it was not a good outcome for them.
That would be
We're talking
morally.
about the... No, it's not. Morals have to do with what's right or wrong. I'm talking about for them the outcome.
Bad.
Yeah, that's not. No, that's sweetheart. Good
when
and
you
bad
say
can
right
be
or
morally.
wrong, when you say right or wrong, it's also going to entail good and bad morally. So when I ask specifically, do you think it's bad? That's
if I ask you, is peanut butter is good or bad? Am I asking morally? Is peanut butter good or bad?
Yeah, because that's going to be subjective, right?
No, I'm asking you if it tastes good or bad.
If it tastes good or bad?
If I say, yeah, I'm asking you, if I say, is peanut butter good or bad? Am I asking you if its morals are good or bad?
No.
Right. That's not what I'm talking about in the garden either. I'm saying the outcome for them was bad. It was not good. They didn't get to have good lollipops and everything afterwards. They got banished, right? That was bad. Not morally bad. It was bad outcome.
I mean, it's probably because they ate from the tree.
But they didn't know what was good or bad before they ate from the tree. See how the story's stupid? See how it gets circular and stupid?
Because
Yeah,
I think
we
when
don't
God
know what's
gives you a
good or bad. I don't know what's good or bad, and then I'm going to get punished because I choose the wrong thing. That's not very good. Go ahead, Nicholas. What do you want to say?
Jay, does God have a plan?
I can't even hear you.
Oh, hold on. Does God have a plan?
Does he have a plan? Yeah.
Did he have a plan from the beginning of creation?
Yep.
So did he plan for Adam and Eve to eat the fruit then?
He knew Adam and Eve was gonna eat the fruit.
Right. So knowing that Adam and Eve were going to eat the fruit because he had an overall plan for humanity, he purposely put that tree in there so they would eat the fruit.
I mean, I still wouldn't see no justification on how that's wrong.
Hold
Because I
on,
think
hold
when
on.
God, I'm about to
Can
explain.
can you so if he has a perfect plan for humanity
Mm-hmm.
and knows how to get from point A to point B, then Adam and Eve
Mm-hmm.
would have had to eat that fruit, correct?
Mm. No, they didn't have to. I don't think God have one plan. I think he got unlimited plans.
Well, if you need unlimited plans, then you are not perfect. If you need constant
Well, that's
scapegoats, or if you need a plan A, plan B, plan C, then your plans are flawed.
Well, that's false. I don't think it's flawed. I just think everybody have the free will to choose whatever they want. So, in
So
respect to
that
anybody
no, we're
choosing, I'm
talking
trying to
about God. We're
finish.
talking about God,
I know
not
that. I know
humans.
that.
Okay,
I
free
know
will
we are
has
talking about
nothing.
human. I mean God.
Hold on. Free will doesn't have anything to do with God, okay? I'm talking
It
about
does. If you're
God's
talking about
plan.
metaphysically about plans, that is going to entail free will in it. I don't know. I don't get what you're saying. Like, can I finish explaining?
Good.
Yeah. So once again, when I say that God have unlimited plans, anybody can do anything according to their free will, and depends on what they do with their free will. Depends on what their plan will be. But God knows that, and I don't also think that knowledge equals all causation. So I don't think just because God knows something, He caused that thing to happen.
Okay. So if God sees everything that everyone in history is going to do from the time of Earth's conception to the end,
Mm-hmm.
as a perfect God, he should be able to come up with one idea, one plan, and not have to plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G it
Well, that's an
because of
assertion.
man's free will. Man's free will has nothing to do with an all perfect, all powerful God. Otherwise,
Well,
you're
that's an
admitting that
assertion.
free will is more powerful than God is.
Nope. I think He
Yeah.
allows things because free will, because He gave us free
Then
will.
he
So
doesn't
once
have a
again,
plan.
that's false. Once again, I just said He had a plan, and I just explained on how that plan works. I don't get what you're not grasping. Once again, you're giving an assertion and telling me what that thing ought to do. I mean, ought to be.
In order to send Jesus to unalive for everybody's sins, Adam and Eve would have had to eat the fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he planned for them to eat the fruit, right?
I mean, yeah. Once again,
Okay, so if he planned for them to eat the fruit to get from point A to point B, are you getting it?
mm-hmm.
No,
I
he's
don't.
not.
Okay, so
No,
if
no, he's
this
Yeah.
not.
is if this is his
That's an
plan to
assertion.
get
You don't
from
even know who I
point
am.
A, hold on. If it's his plan to get from point A, which is the beginning of creation, to point B, which is the unalignment of Jesus, to get to plan C, new heaven and new
Mm-hmm.
earth, Adam and Eve would have had to eat the fruit, meaning they were being punished for something he needed them to do in the first place.
Okay. Can you give me the moral justification on how that's wrong or evil? I
Yeah,
mean, I
why
don't
would you punish
see no
somebody
argument.
for Yeah, why would you punish somebody for something that you need them to do?
Why would you punish somebody for what? Repeat that again.
Why would you punish someone doing what you need them to do to get to point B?
Yeah, then I'm just gonna make the case on saying, for example, if they don't follow God and follow what He has to do, then automatically they'll be in the wrong. So can you give
But
me any
that was
justification
his
just to refute that?
plan. It was his plan. If God has a
I
plan,
agree.
his plan. Okay,
Did
Nicholas,
you not just hear what I just said?
Nicholas, hang on a second. Both of you be quiet. When I talk, immediately everybody else is quiet. Nicholas, here's the thing. He's stuck on a script. He thought he was going to come up today and talk about how our morals are not objective. He's been on it since he got up here. And so I'm going to squash that right now. Jay Witt, what are your morals grounded
That's
in?
not my claim. So that's another assertion. That's not even my claim.
Excuse me?
That's
Excuse
not
me?
my
Yes,
claim.
it has been. You
You just
have said
strawman
so
me.
many times. Excuse me. I am not. You have said since the beginning, where is the grounding in the morals that I'm
Yeah, I
using?
said that to
I
you
had to explain.
specifically.
Excuse me. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking. You said that to me from the beginning, and I was explaining to you that I wasn't talking about morals at that moment, and you keep trying to come back to it. So I'm asking you now, what do you ground your morals in?
Yeah, I think my morals is objective and it's grounded in God.
So prove
Jesus
God
Christ.
exists. Prove God exists, or otherwise your morals are not grounded. You have no grounding either. Yours are subjective unless you can prove God exists.
Yeah, so I could prove God exists. I could just use a deductive
Do
premise
it.
on how God exists. Okay, so go to let me remember if I remember it. Just hold on real quick, give me a second.
is
Okay.
he really gonna look up his script right now?
Yep.
No, it's actually from one of a church father. So try again. So yeah, premise one: all bodies are either potentially in motion or actually in motion. Do you agree?
Hold on. Which church father is this coming from?
For what?
You said this argument you're about to say comes from a church father.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yep. Yeah,
Which
Catholic
church?
church father named Thomas Aquinas.
This comes from. Okay. Wait a minute.
So yeah. So premise one: all bodies are either potentially in motion or actually in motion. Do you agree? Because if you want proof of God, I could just give you a deductive syllogism premise, a logical one.
No, I'll go ahead and agree to that.
Okay. So then premise two: but nothing could be reduced from potentiality to actuality except by something in a state of actuality. Do you agree?
Say that in actual English words that everybody in the audience can understand.
But nothing can be reduced from potentiality.
No. Repeating it doesn't do that, sweetie. You have to now explain what you're saying. Explain what that means.
Crystal, really quick, Crystal. I had to double check this because it didn't sound right. Thomas Aquinas was never a church father. He was considered a doctor of a church. He was also a priest, but he was not one of the church fathers. So he's like lying right off the bat. Not shocking,
A
but
lot of people call him a church father, so I don't want to get off on that point because a lot of Christians call him a church
A lot
father.
of Catholics
They
will
don't
call
know.
him church father. So try again, bro. Please.
Right. Okay. Hey.
Because I could just go
If
to an
I'm
Eastern
defending
Orthodox
you,
church
I don't.
father.
Hey. If I'm defending you, shut the fuck up. God damn, it's so rude. I am the host, and I'm literally defending you.
I think I can speak
Now,
his
do you want
language,
to?
y'all.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead, Vice. What were you saying?
I think I can speak Philbro. If God's loved us so much, why would he set us up to fail? Go ahead.
What?
Wait, no.
I'm giving
We're
you a
not gonna. We're
deductive
not gonna
logical
do.
premise.
Wait. He was giving us premises. I don't want to go off from that. So I'm sorry. I did get premise one. What? And premise two. When you explain something, you don't get to repeat what you said. So please explain premise two.
Yeah, so how I define active potency is just the principle of change, so I upon another thing. And I define passive potency, which is potentiality, the principle and the thing that receive change from something else or another answer match as another thing. So when we talk about active potency, God will have active potency. He won't have passive potency because it wouldn't make sense for him to be changed. Because if he's changed, then he'll have passive potency, which he doesn't. So he only have active potency because he changed things and he made
So
things
you're
move.
presupposing God in your whole argument. Okay,
I mean,
it's
that's
a
not
presupposition
presupposing
argument.
God.
So
I mean, it's not
yeah,
presupposing
you are.
God.
You
What?
just did. You literally just did.
Can you
What are
tell
you
me how I
talking about?
presuppose God?
Because if you're saying God in premise 2, if you are saying God, then you are presupposing God to prove God. Now, if you want to tell me what premise 2 is without saying God
What?
in the premise,
Premise 2
what?
didn't have nothing. Premise 2 never said nothing about God. What?
You
That's
just
premise
used
8, which
God
is a
in your.
conclusion.
It's because you used God in your explanation. She just wants you to re-explain in layman's terms your premise
That's what I
number
did.
2. Right? No,
That's what I
because
did.
dude, you gave us definitions for some of the words. You did not re-explain it cogently, and you did not do it in layman's terms.
Okay.
If you don't
So I'm
like
just
that,
going.
if you want to sit there and huff and puff and be all upset, you can go to a Philbro Live instead.
I mean, literally said to prove God, so that's what I'm doing, using the deductive logical
Then
premise. So
use
once again,
layman's terms so that when
I
we
will.
ask for it, we can get through it.
Yeah, so for example, you see a pen, anything you believe that any energy subsists within everything, host? Yes or no? Do you agree that everything has energy in it? I'm just gonna explain it like kindergartner. Do you agree that everything has energy in it, host?
She's away from the phone at the
Can
moment.
you just
I don't know if I agree that everything has energy in it. That's
So
what
what
premise 2
doesn't has
is.
energy?
I
That's
said
not
I
what premise
don't
2
know.
is. I'm about to
Okay,
explain
what's
like
premise
layman's
2?
terms.
For Jesus Christ. What
You
the
just
fuck
told me
is
to
premise
explain
2?
to. Yeah, premise 2 once again, but nothing can be reduced from potentiality to actuality except by something in the state of actuality. You just told me just to re-explain it in layman's terms. So once again, I'm telling you it
Right.
I'm explaining to you it in kindergarten terms.
No,
So
you're
once
asking
again,
You're
questions about
not,
what she
though.
believes.
You're
We just want
asking
explanation.
fucking questions.
do you know
Just
what a
explain
deductive
it.
logical
If you,
premise is?
Dude,
oh my God,
explain the
yes.
premise.
And explain the fucking premise or get down. Just do it. I
Yeah.
can't take
So,
it.
for example, a pen has passive potency and active potency because it could change and it can
What is
also receive
potency?
change. So yeah, how I'm just gonna define potency, it's just something that's gonna where passive potency is just gonna be something that's can be changed by another force, and active potency is something that can do the change.
So
So
why don't you
passive will
just call it a
receive change.
changing force?
What?
So you're just talking about something changing, right?
And active potency, well, no, passive potency is something changing. Passive potency is something changing. Active potency is something that's changing another thing.
Okay.
So once again,
Passive
with the
is
analogy with the pen,
so if I'm passing, then I'm changing, but if I'm not passing, I'm the other one. It just okay. I got you. All right.
what are you talking about, bro?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so a pen has passive and active potency. So the thing is, we know that if this pen have passive and active potency, we know that there's something that's have to have active potency because there's something that can't change, but has to change another thing. So if there's nothing that can't change or something that's had both active and passive potency, and we don't see this in a real world and things of that nature, like metaphysical wise, then we know that either God don't exist or either it's just something that's illogical with.
What does something changing have to do with a god?
Oh my gosh.
Oh
I'm
my
trying
gosh,
to
you're
make you
great.
agree with premise 2 right now.
We're trying to get you to explain it, but you keep just not making more sense. A thing that
You literally.
changes, we're asking specifically about premise 2. I know what the active and passive is. I'm fine with that. My question is, where does that get you to God?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so do you agree with premise 2? Because if you do, then it'll get you to God. If you don't know what a
Is premise two that everything either changes or causes change, or that if it doesn't cause change, something can cause change to it? Is that what we're basically fucking saying?
Nope.
Then you're not
Well,
doing a very good
the
job
fact
of
that you,
explaining.
the fact
That's
that you
false,
can't
bro.
explain things, the fact that you can't
I'm
explain things,
explaining that
that is the problem. No, you're not.
any philosophical
No,
person
you're
will literally
not.
know
We're not
this.
philosophers. We
Do
don't
this
give a
every day.
fuck
We're
about the
not
philosophy.
philosophers. We're
Yeah,
not
but when I used
philosophers,
to
and
do
nobody ever. God damn! If you can't learn to shut up when a host speaks, fuck, man, it's so annoying. Listen to me. If you think that people are going to come to Jesus Christ because you talk like this, you are sadly mistaken. Not a motherfucking person ever went to the cross of Jesus Christ because of passive potency. Okay? Nobody did that. And if you really care about your message getting across, you would go, actually, I would like it if everyday people understood what I was saying, because those are the people that I'm going to talk to most of the time. I'm not going to talk to philosophers on a day-to-day basis. If you can't stay muted, then get the fuck off my panel, you little piece of shit. It's rude as fuck what you're doing.
Imagine trying to quote philosophy but can't even pronounce the words and then gets mad at everybody when nobody knows what the fuck you're saying.
Right? Yeah, you got a concession. I concede that I don't know what the fuck you're saying. And nobody else did in chat, and nobody else did up here either. Your premises were very, very hard to understand. And the fact that you don't know how to explain them means you don't know what you're saying. You're using words that you are repeating that somebody else said, and you actually don't understand what they mean. And that's what I proved.
There's something about taking a philosophy class that just inherently makes people dicks. And I don't know why.
I don't give a
So
fuck about philosophy, JW. Nobody went to Jesus because of philosophy.
my one of my professors, the metaphysics slash philosophy professor in college, he said something a while ago, and it's so true because he can't stand y'all Phil bros on this app either. But he said if you cannot break down the premises that you're spouting in the simplistic of forms without getting all huffy and mad, it means you yourself don't actually understand what the premise is saying.
Right, that's why I did that. That's exactly why I did that. Because he could not explain it. And that's when I knew he actually doesn't know what he's saying. He's repeating something he's heard. And then he is trying to talk down to us and saying, premises are philosophical. Honey, I know that, pumpkin. That's why I let you give your syllogism. See, I knew what the word syllogism was too, pumpkin. Okay, but the fact that you don't know what the fuck you're saying is the problem. You literally don't know what those words mean.
I was stuck on whether or not he kept saying potency or ponency.
Right? Right? I was too, like, I think he switched back and forth sometimes, I
He
swear.
was slurring his words together. It was hard to understand most of what he fucking said. And then he got mad when people tried to get him to clarify.
See, and I'm kind of a dick because I'll let them get through their premises and go, and then I'll wait till the end when they've done all that fancy dancing, and I'll be like, great, okay, now prove it was your God. And they're done for because that means they actually have to go to the biblical text, which they haven't read, and they're screwed. I love screwing with them in that regard.
No, you got kicked off the show because you kept talking over me, the host, and unmuting yourself while I was speaking. And I'm neurodivergent, and I really can't deal with that. I'm not going to compete with a guest on here for the mute button. I'm not going to do that. That's not going to happen.
Christina the Godless, your response to him just now was chef's kiss. Thank you so much.
I gotta go one on one class for a bit and make it my personality.
JW, I did get mad because you're rude. That's cool, sweetie. You go tell everybody I beat CrystalJae in a philosophical debate when her topic was God's not that into you. And I beat her by making sure that I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about and couldn't explain it. Okay? Because you know what, Pumpkin? I actually have the recording. Mwah. You go tell everybody whatever you need to make yourself feel good.
And my problem isn't, again, that I didn't understand the words. My problem is I don't think he was using them correctly, and I didn't understand half of the ones he said.
Exactly.
Giving his own paraphrase too.
Right? At least write your argument down so it makes sense.
And actually, I don't understand what I said. We would repeat something to him, but in layman's terms, DeGaulle and I both did it. And he would go, nah, what are you even saying? What are you even saying? But then it was what he was saying. So he doesn't even understand basic English. That's what tells me he doesn't understand what the words mean that he's saying.
Again, potency or potency?
Because his first premise was basically that everything is everything is in motion or whatever the fuck. I don't even care, I guess now. I got over it, but and then the second one is about change. What is your fucking point? None of that's gonna prove Jesus Christ, Pumpkin. None of that is.
We literally said that back to you, Jay Witt, and you said no.
I know I didn't repeat your premise one, right? I even said that after I started to repeat it because I don't even give a fuck what your premise one was now.
He literally just repeated what you summed up to him, Crystal, back in the chat and said that's what he said. And we were wrong.
That's exactly what I said. I go, are we talking about change? And are we talking about that some things can change and some things can cause change? And there are some things that need something to cause change within it. And he was like, no, what are you even saying?
I hope his professor was watching that.
I hope so too.
Darth Dawkins, I don't think so.
Oh, Darth Dawkins is his teacher. Mr. Circular Argument himself.
Most of the guys who come, like the mass majority, I'd say 98% of the guys who come up babbling this Spielbro stuff off have never been in a post-secondary education. They're just reading scripts that they've been passing around on the internet, and yeah, because if they were in an actual philosophy class, their philosophy professors would break all of these things down in the most simplistic forms for them to be able to break it down into the most simplistic forms for when they're in these debates. And because they can't do that, that's how I know they've never entered a post-secondary classroom. Or if they have, they're on semester one and think they know everything.
I know, and here's the thing. You can tell when somebody actually knows what they are talking about in any field. It doesn't matter whether it's philosophy or not, because they can dumb it down for you because it's their field and they understand. They understand what your question is. They understand how to explain it to somebody who doesn't understand all their terminologies. My husband is a mechanical engineer, and I gotta tell you something. I don't know shit about aerospace, but he will come home and explain things to me about his job every day, and he can explain it in a way that I completely understand what his point is, where, and he's talking about mechanisms and aerodynamics and shit,
Professor M has never had a single issue breaking things down to me in the most simplistic of forms when I don't understand something.
But people who are just spouting off some facts they know, they can't actually talk about what they're saying because they only memorize a few, things like to make their points. So he got a script, he memorized that script, but if you question him about that, he can't back it up. And by the way, I'm tired of Christians saying, and this is why I did it in the first place, I'm so tired of Christians going, what are your morals grounded in? My next question from now on is, what are yours? Because if you're going to tell me God, then you have to prove he exists first, because otherwise your morals are subjective too. Shut the fuck up.
Harm reduction. It should be that simple. It should be grounded in harm reduction.
Exactly.
They always wonder, well, what makes you know what harm is? What's your objective thing about harm? How do you determine what is harmful?
You know what? And that's when I punched them in the face, dog. Did that? Did that hurt, bitch? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. You want to see harm? I'll show you some harm. How about that? Quantify this, bitch.
Right? The ones I really can't
Meet
stand.
premise 1 and premise 2. Here.
No. And your kneecaps are premise 3 and 4. Just. I can't stand the ones who will be like, okay, well, let's take grape for an example. It causes long-term harm, physical effects, mental effects. Like, you go through all of these, and then they stop and they're like, but why is that bad? Because they don't, it's the same with the G side in the Bible or the I side in the Bible. They're like, yeah, but why is that a bad thing? And then, you could even go so far as...
Then you can turn that on them. You can just turn that on them, because I want you to show me why it would be bad to rape a widow in the Bible. Go ahead. Show me.
We just need to kill them with the go-aheads. That's all. Just kill them with the go-aheads.
The widows are not mentioned when it says who not to rape, by the way. So, go ahead. Show me. Hey, Grana, how are you?
I'm going to finish every sentence with it.
You're going to finish every sentence with go ahead?
Yep. Every time one comes up, I'm just going to say, hey, how are you? Go ahead.
How you doing? Go ahead.
Right.
I'm doing fine. Go ahead.
Exactly.
We're on CB. Go ahead.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Exactly the joke I was trying to make earlier. It didn't land.
It's Grana's
I caught it. I was giggling. Don't worry.
Who remembers those days? Well, I have a question about something you guys were talking about earlier. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right. So you guys, this happened to me is why I'm asking. I was like, right after I deconstructed, I went into a live and I thought I knew someone who was up on stage, but I didn't know people really well then. So they were talking about something and they said to this guy who's a Christian, that's not even in the Bible. Where'd that come from? So I put up Revelation, meaning revelations, right? But I'm dyslexic, so I get things mixed up. And they completely slammed me. They were like, it's Revelations. If you really knew your Bible, you'd know that, blah, 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 blah. And didn't even check to see if I was right. They just slammed me. And I was like, is that...
Wait, I thought it was Revelation. I thought it was the Revelation of John.
Revelations of John.
No, it's just Revelation.
It's just Revelation. No. I'm going to go look right now.
Yeah, it has an S, and I forget that sometimes because my dyslexia kicks in and I can't remember, and I can't see words in my head, so I don't spell well. But I just couldn't believe how rude they were just because I left off an S.
It's Revelation, not Revelations. What Bible are you going off of for this?
I don't know. The one I looked at had an S, so I was like, okay. Because but I still couldn't believe that they were like yelling at me and freaking out over nothing, literally.
Yeah. I hate when people do that. That's ridiculous. But you were right anyway. It is Revelation because it was the revelation, like to John or of John or something like that. So it is the Revelation.
It is Revelation because it's based off the first sentence of the book, which does not have an S. It literally says the revelation of.
Yeah. Okay. Because whatever I looked at, I didn't look it up in the Bible. I just looked up like how do you spell, and it had revelation. It had an S on it.
Yeah.
And that's so pedantic. That's just so pedantic. Does that change the fact that that's where it was in the book? And when people are doing that, it's just to be like a know-it-all anyway. Like, you know what they meant. Now, I do sometimes say something like when people call Mary Magdalene a whore. I do
Oh
say,
yeah,
no, she wasn't. But I'm
right.
sorry. I'm sorry that affects all women. The fact that you allow that lie to continue to be told. If you're an atheist, correct them every time. That's a misogynistic, patriarchal fucking thing. You should not allow them to do that.
Wait,
I'm
was
sorry,
this a
Vice. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, how they would take one little thing that you say wrong just to make some sort of argument against you, and it's not the substance of what you said, it was how you said it.
Yeah.
Right. And
was
I would, you
this
know, me, I'm like way too nice of a person. So I'm just sitting there like in shock going, what did I do? You know, like,
was this an
so
atheist
it was very
panel?
frustrating. Yeah, it was on an
Was
atheist panel.
who was
I don't know
hosting?
who it was. I don't remember. I try to wipe those things from my memory
No,
so I don't feel
still.
bad about people. So, and I was fairly new, so I didn't know a lot of people anyway, you know. But I had heard this person on a live before. I knew that, and they were fine on the other live. And then, but I just come to say that
Grandma's
because,
Hannah, I love you.
hmm?
You were so sweet. I just when you said I tried to not remember. I like to so I don't think bad of people or something like that. I thought, wow, that is the opposite of me. I will fucking remember that shit till the fucking did. And then vice. I thought, well, there's my OCD.
Well, it could be my training against my OCD that does it because I know I will. You know, I know if I don't forget, I will focus on it forever. You know, like hating a
Yeah,
person
it's true.
forever. You know, but I guess to me, it's like no different than if a Christian comes up and just starts yelling at people and telling them they're all going to hell and stuff, as atheist sitting there and just smashing on someone for an S. You know.
Okay, I got one for you guys. And this person is still in the chats. Like I know they're in the chats all the time, but I don't really see them active in our discords or anywhere else. So I've never ever outed them, and I'm not going to right now either. Okay, but there's this person who's in all the atheist chats, and then one time I don't remember if I think we were in Daniel's live, but it was somebody really nice, you know, like a really nice host, not like a cusser outer like me, you know, somebody very cordial. Anyway, somebody in the chat said something about being agnostic, and this atheist went the fuck off on them for being agnostic. Like they were like going off and going, you're just like trying to sit in the middle, have the best of both ways. You're no better than Christians and blah, blah, blah. So we were like, wait, why are you acting like this? Like, calm down. Agnostic, he could still be atheist. He's just saying that, you know, agnostic just has to do with the knowledge. He doesn't know or whatever. And this person just like would not back down. It was like relentless. And okay, yes, it was you, Tris. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, Crystal is having technical difficulties. Why don't everybody keep double tapping that screen and sharing it out? We're at 89 shares. Guys, we should be well over 100 by now. So let's get those shares up. If you have nobody to share it to, no discords, no friends, click that copy link button at least 5 times. That does count towards the algorithm boost. Also, host does have a gift goal. So if you have some spare coin, throw them to your Witcher. But at this point, let's get those likes up to 45K and those shares up over 100. Thank you.
It's a call. She'll be right back.
I have actually discussed this topic many a times, especially, like, I do see some atheists do this, but it's especially in the anti-theistic portion, is they seem to be the same side of the coin as the Christians as far as extremism goes. And they will be so extremist to the point where they're actually attacking friendlies. And it's really horrible. It's like you're trying to do the same thing that Christians do and force people into your own individual ideologies and your own belief system, but you think it's okay because it doesn't involve Christianity. But at the end of the day, it's still not okay. I've had to block and unfollow a lot of people, even from our own community, for these reasons, because there's a lot of things that they would do or say that they seem to get away with that we would never in a million years let a Christian get away with it, but because they're, quote, deconstructed and out of the faith, people think they're in the right, but it's not. At the end of the day, wrong is wrong. It doesn't
Yep.
matter which side it's coming from.
Kind is kind, understanding is understanding. Now, if someone is being cruel to you and you're like, whoa, this needs to stop, that to me is totally different from just starting off being mad for whatever reason. You know, I mean, I've heard many people yell at someone for a good reason.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's just
Well, Mama Bash
it
Raid.
gets
She'll be
like
right back.
like I said, I made a Facebook what was a week or two ago that I was like, atheists are starting to become just as exhausting as Christians are.
We don't want that.
No, it's like we're supposed to be out here doing better, being better, I think the problem is coming out of Christianity, you have to go through the stages of grief. And the
Yeah.
mass majority of people get stuck on the anger part.
Yeah.
And this anger is where people start attacking other people. It doesn't matter who you are, when you're just trying to. Like, I can't tell you how much hate I've gotten from the atheist community when they bring up that whole passage that, the people of Samaria shall bear their guilt. Their women, their pregnant bellies will be ripped open and their babies dashed on the rocks. And I tried to explain to them, actually, that was not God. That was people coming out of people in Babylonian exile where actually worse things was happening to them at that point. And they were just really, really mad. And they're like, "Why are you doing apologetics?" Blah, 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 blah. It's like, I'm not. I'm telling you the context that what you're reading isn't even a quarter of what was happening to their children, to their infants. It's because they get stuck on that anger part. And another thing is they deconstruct the religion, but they don't deconstruct the harmful ideologies. The misogyny is a huge one that I keep calling out within our community. With the men, it's like you guys have got to deconstruct that misogyny. I have seen panels where the hosts, the deconstructed quotation mark hosts, are letting Christian men say horrible things to women on their panel without stopping them.
Also, while you're bringing that up, before you go any further, I want to say something to the men in the community. And listen, I'm not pointing. If you think I'm talking about you, know that you are not the only one I'm talking to right now. I swear to God, there's been way more than one of you who have done this recently, where a man has come up on a panel, has been disrespectful to a woman, very clearly misogynistic, and the atheist men say or do nothing. They let the woman handle it, and then they will later say, I didn't want to step in. I didn't know if you would want me to say anything. Yes, we do. Every fucking time. If you men do not start calling out other men, they will not listen to us. Do you understand that they are misogynists? So hearing it from me that they're being a misogynist is nothing. They're like, fuck you. I don't care what you say. You're a woman. But if you men would start saying, what the fuck did you just say to her? Stop being a misogynist. You're being a fucking pig up here. What are you doing? But you're not. You think that, and I know that you think that we want to fight our own fights and that you're like, hey, but I didn't want to step on your. No, we'll fight with you too, but fucking stand up with us.
And I think the order you said it in, Crystal, is exactly how it should be. The woman should say it first. And then when they don't listen, the guy can come in and say, do you see what she just told you just happened again? You are not
If you're the
listening to
host,
this.
I think you can say it right away, Dove. Even if you're a host and you're the man, you
Oh
should
no, if
be
you're the
saying it
host, I'm
right away.
talking the
You don't,
co-host.
yeah,
If
yeah,
the host
yeah,
is a woman and the co-host is a man, the
yeah,
host that's a woman says that the guy doesn't listen, then the co-host needs to step up and say, "Hey, this is not acceptable," because
yep,
they should listen to
absolutely.
the host, but they don't always. So,
Yep.
Tell you, it does not happen in Christian run lives. They will let their men beat you up. They will let women talk down to you. I had someone code switch into a condescending, like, black girl tone, and she was a white Jewish woman, and the host didn't catch it, and she was a black Christian. So it's like anybody that goes out there to the Christian lives, we have to seriously put on some thick skin and fight for ourselves, even to just have a voice and to take our turns. There's no courtesy in those lives. Like, it's very weird to go from there to an atheist run live where there's much more cohesion, but still come across misogyny from your friendlies. Like Nicholas said, like, it's kind of crazy to be like, yo, nobody noticed that. Like, you start to feel alone. You start to feel isolated from the group. Like, maybe you weren't worth someone standing up for you. It's really crazy when you're in your own circle and those things are allowed to happen, or when you're trying to tell people that there's a problem person and they're not believing you and they're forcing you have to either relive it or produce receipts, and these people are in the chat just to harass people. They're admitting to harassing people, like, and the host isn't doing anything because they want the engagement, and like, that's harmful as well.
Or at worse yet, they're laughing about it.
Right. Passes them completely that it's harmful at all. And these are people that have gone into DMs and gotten blocked, but now they can see you when you're up on the panel or when you're in chat, and they can harass you directly. And I have to explain all of this to someone in a live, or I have to just leave and go to a live where that person has been blocked because the creator believed me or the multitude of other individuals who are saying that person's a problem, even if they're not up on the panel. The harassment after being blocked can be really emotionally, like, stalkery and damaging.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to point out the reason I said what I said, that men, please, every fucking time stand up for us, is because I have had men in the deconstruction space say, I didn't know if I should. I didn't know if it would be stepping on your toes. And I'm letting you know it's not. And if we feel if we feel like we have it, we will let you know, hey, I got this, and then let us have it. But if not, like, it just feels so good to hear men call out. Do you want to know how many times in my lifetime that I've heard a man call out another man for misogyny? So little, I can count them on my hands.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think I've seen it in person, like, ever in my life.
Okay, Vice, I'm sorry, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Sorry, I agree. I haven't seen it in person either, but I need to go get ready for my live.
Okay, all right. We're gonna raid Vice when we get done here, you guys. Raid, I will see you over in your live. Have a great day, and thanks for being here. You guys make sure you're following Vice.
See you.
For science and
Also,
witchy
Vice.
stuff.
Yeah, the worst ones for me is when you're seeing. Okay, so yeah, like, micro misogyny, like, that gets my gears right going. It gets my gears going. You know what you're doing. You know what you're fucking doing. But what really gets me, and I've seen it in our spaces, where there's a Christian literally verbally attacking and insulting a woman because she's a woman, and then the host goes, "Okay, well, let's just move on." Pardon the fuck?
Yes.
Pardon the
And when I'm
fuck?
standing up for myself, I've had them do that to me before, where I'm like, what did you just say to me?
Oh
Listen,
my
I'm not a little
God,
girl, or
yes.
something like that. And the host will go, okay, let's move on. No. Let me finish with this person, okay? I don't care if you don't get any, I don't care if they run now. And that's what you're afraid of. You're afraid that, oh my God, oh no, she's going to get emotional on here, and then my opponent's going to run, and then I'm not going to have any content. fuck you. Then you're a misogynist too.
Exactly. If you are permitting another man to do that to a woman that is on your panel, you are not a safe space. And you're as bad as he is. Like,
it's
you're
true.
not a safe space.
Yeah, it's
But
like
I've also
I know someone who's trans, and they were from female to man, and so now they've seen both sides of it, and they just like get so mad when it's the men talking like they would talk behind women's backs.
Yeah.
And he's there going, no. And what do you do if it's a work situation or something like that? Because you could be completely ostracized and it could affect your job.
There's
And
always
he, of course,
HR.
stands up, and no matter what, but it's still hard, if that makes sense. You know?
I actually don't give a fuck if it's hard, Grana. I don't give a fuck.
Neither does
My
he.
whole
Neither
life
does he.
is hard. My whole
Yep,
life
yep.
is hard because of misogyny and patriarchy.
Yep.
Oh, so you stand up and you don't have work friends anymore? Oh, maybe you stand up and you actually get fired. Guess what? You want to know how many jobs women are fired from because they're women? Fuck
Yep.
you. I don't
Oh,
care.
he does every time.
I don't care.
But yeah, exactly. It's just seeing both sides would be weird to me. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a really good
that would be-
point. Is their excuse most of the time is that they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to put their job at jeopardy. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. Clearly, they don't understand what we've been going through. And I think those that do get that education are just like fully blown out that you losing your job is nothing to the amount of women and children who are hurt by men you let talk like that in front of you.
Exactly. But then he got HR job and didn't have to worry about it anymore.
Good for him.
Okay,
Not that
so
that wasn't why he got the HR job, but he just happened to.
I know I'm a dude. This probably shouldn't be
Yes,
coming
it's
from
battle of the
him,
sexes. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
but
ahead.
I know I'm a dude, and this probably shouldn't be coming from a dude. But it ladies, beautiful women, glorious goddesses you are. I know that a lot of us came from fundy circles in which a man's voice trumps that of a woman, and that we were always trained to look to men as authority figures in anything that is spoken about. But if you see men in the community that you've been following a long time and are a big fan of them, you don't have to take it anymore. You don't have to make excuses for it anymore. You're free. You're out of the religion. You don't have to make excuses for that behavior anymore. You don't have to follow these guys. Everything
That's
that
true.
you were
And by the way,
taught.
before anybody does anything, I do want to say this real quick because I don't. I just want to make sure that everybody knows I don't do call out lives, so don't start calling somebody out. I don't do those.
No.
Okay,
No.
I'm not doing it now. We're just talking about things that atheists need to work on in general, and we got into misogyny. And a lot of people in the community, both women and men, need to work on their misogyny in the community. A lot of internal misogyny in the community. And you want to know how I know? Go check how many men that you are supporting financially, and then tell me how many women in the community you are financially supporting. There you go. Go check that. All of the women. I want you to do that, okay? But I don't do call out lives, and I never will. So I don't want anybody going, oh yeah, because I saw blah blah. Nope, I don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Hey Jess, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I don't have super long, but I just wanted to come up and say hi. Oh, and Grana? I think Grana?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, how do I say that? Y'all were talking about how like it can make life difficult, like speaking out. I definitely know that. I got penalized for speaking out against racism at my old job before they fired me for being trans.
Oh, that's horrible.
Oh my
No.
God.
Sorry about that.
It is what it is. It's just like People are so crazy and bigoted.
Yeah, and just to clarify, he was not trying to say that speaking up is harder than what women go through. He's just saying it's different, if that makes sense.
No, it is. And it is hard. Okay. I'm just saying, and I'm not speaking about your friend in particular. I'm just saying, as a woman, I do not give a fuck if men have to suffer because they stand up for us right now. If they would have stood up for us from day one on this fucking planet, they wouldn't be suffering today. Plus, what they don't fucking understand is they harm themselves by supporting this patriarchy and this misogyny. It is harming them. That is why the suicide rates for men is so drastically high. It is because they are not allowed to have an emotion. They are not allowed to have any sensitivity. They have to live up to completely ridiculous standards that we should not be making them live up to. They are supposed to be the breadwinner, even if they, like, a man might have some kind of disability, and we will say, you're not a man. We fucking literally tell men they're not men. That's so fucking dehumanizing. What the fuck? So no, the patriarchy and misogyny is so fucking harmful to everybody. And that's why I don't care if some men have to suffer along the way to fucking stand up for us women, because that has to happen.
Yeah.
It just has to.
Absolutely.
Oh, these damn earphones. Sorry. I wanted to add on to something that Crystal was saying before. Not to take the conversation back a few steps. This is a clear-cut example, and I'm not calling anyone out. I'm not using names, but I really want y'all to think about this. We have a card-carrying PhD biblical scholar woman on this app, and I know everybody in the community fucking knows this woman. Okay, everybody. She struggles to even get 30 viewers. Meanwhile, there are people who are in live. Now, I'm not saying these people aren't as intelligent as her. That's not what I'm saying. But then I will see her struggling to get viewers and people into her lives. But then I'll go see where everybody is, and they're all in the men's lives, sitting there gifting, talking, listening to a bunch of men who don't have PhDs, and are not educating about Bible stuff, but rather are sitting there shitting on Christians for clout. So, huge example right there. Now, as somebody working towards biblical scholarship, there is a huge. I can't tell you how many people who will say Dr. Dan McClellan, but go Francesca Stravacopoulou. I'm sorry, she deserves that doctor in front of her name
Okay,
too.
but look at her last name. It's just really freaking hard to say.
Okay, well, you
No, I'm
can
just
say
kidding.
Dr. Francesca. It took me
I'm just
100
teasing.
times to, yeah, I know. But I see it even in the scholarship world, or people who follow scholars. You'll bring up Dr. Dan McClellan or Dr. Joshua Bowen or Kip Dave, whoever, and then you'll say Dr. Francesca Stravacopoulou, and everybody's like, "Well, who's that?" What? What? Like, it's the same. It is internalized misogyny on both ends.
Yeah.
It is.
Crystal,
I'm
can
sorry, Nick.
can I talk about you for a sec?
Really quick,
Well,
I'm
of
sorry,
course.
Nick, but it's Stravacopoulou.
Oh shit! See, I thought I had it. Say it one more.
Stravaca.
Palolu.
Palolu.
Stravaca.
Polulu. Okay, fuck.
Not
Here
Palulu.
I thought I had it. Damn it. Okay.
It was funny because you said it, and then Crystal's like, but it's hard to say. And I'm like, well, Nick's not even saying it right. So that's okay.
Sorry, I only have a minute left, or a couple minutes left. So can I say something real quick, and then I'll go back to the comments?
Yes.
But
yes,
Crystal, I noticed that happens with her when she's doing Decon Q&A, because she'll get these people in who are huge, and she'll still only get like 50 viewers. But then if someone else,
it does depend on who it is.
It does depend on who it is, but still, it's like you see other guys who have interview, and they'll get 600 for the same guest. You're like,
And I'm
whoa.
funny and adorable.
You
What
are
is
funny
wrong
and
with you
adorable.
people? And
All right, I'm
that
going to go
being
back
said,
to
I
the
That's
am going to
adorbs.
comments.
promote myself real quick.
Thank you,
My
guys.
Grana, thanks for coming up.
Well,
You
thanks
guys,
for
since we're
helping me
talking
out.
about misogyny, no problem. Have a great day. Since we're talking about misogyny and all that, I want to remind you that I have a podcast. It's called Anti Sermons, AUNTIE. And in this, we are decentering men, and we're asking the women in the Bible to step forward and, tell us a little bit about themselves and maybe give us a little lesson, if you will. So we're going chronologically and methodically through the Bible, and we are doing a sermon for every woman. I say we like as if it's me and God or something. It's just me. It's I don't know who we is. It's me and Quincy, my cat. We are. It's not even my cat. It's God, I lie to you guys a lot. I just realized that. Anyway, yeah. So we're going through the Bible, and we're doing a sermon for every woman, named or unnamed, in the Bible, and it's on every place that you used to listen to sermons. So if you listen to sermons, on Audible, go check it out. It's called Anti Sermons, and I'm your Auntie Crystal. All my followers are my nibblings. And make sure you check out my Discord. Okay, if you go to my Discord, we have a lot going on. We played D&D this weekend. It was so fun. And you will notice that in my Discord is a GoFundMe for Rabbi Hannah here. Rabbi Hannah's wife is, you know what, Rabbi, why don't you tell us about your amazing wife and why everybody should just go give $5 or $20 or $50?
My wife is an archaeologist, and she was accepted into Colorado State University for her undergrad and graduate program. And while we have most of the tuition covered, she still has a ways to go in terms of like books and finishing covering tuition. She does speak with financial aid later this week to see what we can come up with. But she started a GoFundMe because she figured if somebody is willing to pay $50,000 for potato salad, maybe people would be willing to help someone who is a trans archaeologist whose work and field will be locating trans people throughout history and making sure their bones are patriated as such.
Super cool. So all those
Super
arguments
cool, right?
that they give when they're like, you're going to get your bones dug up. If the archaeologists like your wife go out there, then they will know that they're trans. That's beautiful. That takes that
Exactly.
argument right
So
out.
that is exactly what my wife's goal is. My wife is a trans mask, and so like what she wants to do is be able to go into the world and help. They're finding some based on grave goods and what certain people have been buried with, that we are learning that these were possibly and most likely trans people. That transness is not something new. It has existed throughout history. But there isn't a lot of people who are pursuing it, and that is something that she wants to pursue in archaeology.
I love that. I really do. And, here's the thing. I cannot always afford to donate to everybody I love in the community. Sometimes I have extra money right when somebody needs a little money, and then I can donate. And sometimes I just don't. I need a new computer. I have things that I'm probably going to need surgery. I've got some health issues and some things happening in my own life right now. But I do feel that if you can't give, you should be spreading the word, because you don't know who's listening. You don't know who you share it to that might be able to help the person that you care about. And so I do like to share. So I wanted to tell you guys all about Rabbi Hannah, and she's here. And the link is probably in her bio too, but it is on my Discord under Cup of Kindness if you want to support her over there. Also, my good friend Mech Jack is having a little bit of financial difficulties too. His information is on my Discord as well. And but yeah, I just wanted to. I just like to give a shout out so we can help people. We can all help each other. We used to give this money to a church that we thought was helping our community, and most of them were not. We're not helping. I can tell you, Rabbi Hannah knows where I live, and Rabbi Hannah can tell you that the town I live in probably has a church within blocks of each other on every block. Okay. And she can also tell you that there are so many homeless and disabled people and hurt people in my community that could use help, and those churches are doing nothing.
Hey, Crystal.
They're not helping them at all.
Hey, Crystal.
Yes.
On these lines, I actually do have something to promote that is to help a woman that's in a domestic violence situation. On my bio, there's a link in my link tree for a GoFundMe for Amber the librarian.
I love Amber.
She is trying to escape a domestic violence situation with her children. So far, we have raised a little over $3,100 for her because she's waiting on temporary shelter and needs lodging before they can give her a place to go. So we're pulling money together to get her and her kids out of there. The link for that is in my bio.
Thank you. I appreciate that, you guys. Amber's amazing. So if you can help out, please. Anything you guys can do. And like I said, when you can't financially actually donate, if you could just spread the word, that you don't realize how much that can help.
Spread that word, please, because she came to me last week. We got this ball rolling last week, and we've already made our first goal, and a little bit more can't hurt because this is going to be a long, drawn-out process for her.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
You know, if God would actually answer my prayer, I would win the lottery and fix everybody's situation right now. But, you know, thanks God.
Right? What? They always think that we're praying for selfish stuff, but I was praying for $1 trillion so I could end starvation. That's what I'm praying for the $1 trillion for. I don't know why you're praying for it, guys. I was just trying to end world hunger.
You guys tell me what you think too. I also am thinking about starting a small nonprofit to gather crowdfunding basically for women and trans people who may need documentation, like passports and stuff, especially for voting and whatnot. I'm trying to figure out how to get that off the ground.
Legal assistance too. A lot of them will end up in legal trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be
that
for
is
anything.
A really good one, Dugald.
Anything that'll help the trans community and women be able to vote and keep their rights. So that's something I'm looking into. It's not started yet, but it is something I'm trying to bring about. Just FYI.
I think that's really beautiful. I know Zenamea is looking at also starting like a nonprofit to help people. I'm not sure what her specific niche will be, and she always has people to help, like in her bio too. And I think that she also has somebody leaving a domestic violence situation in her bio right now, so make sure you check that out. Bye, Jesse. Thanks for being here. You guys, I'm going to be wrapping things up right now. Don't forget to check out Annie's sermons everywhere you listen to sermons. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. I may or may not be on camera. I don't know. My leg is a lot better. I think I'm scared. I'm so scared if I sit at my desk all day that I will end up being back not able to walk again. And I can finally walk right now. So I might be on camera tomorrow. We'll see how I feel tonight. But otherwise, you guys, it's been lovely. Who's live right now? Who can we raid? Oh, we're raiding Vice. I'm sorry, duh. We're raiding Vice. Everybody head over to Vice. I love you guys. Have a great day, and I will see you around the mean streets of TikTok and YouTube. Bye, everybody.
So you just woke up one day and you had scars and you're like, oh shit, I must have got my head cut open. Your parents never told you?